Just let me know.
I haven't seen LEMMiNO's video on it. I just meant I remember the event. Did they solve it? No. At least they give sub bill. No. Yeah, I mean, I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure it's still unsolved. They just have a working theory. Yeah, no, it's still not solved. It's just working theories. Let's do some punk chick in the 5 gift sub sweat. Thank you, man.
Delivery manager.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sweat. Thank you for a long time of watching, handyman.
Malaysian 370, standby.
At Kuala Lumpur International Airport, a Boeing 777 is preparing for departure.
Malaysian 370, request level. 370, we are ready, requesting flight level 350 to Beijing.
The
Malaysian
unidentifiable.
Airlines
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Flight 370 is a daily passenger flight between Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia and Beijing, China.
370, 3 to right of takeoff. Nice.
42 minutes past
cold.
midnight, Flight 370 is given clearance to depart.
The
On
bitch
board
beef.
are Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah, First Officer Farik Abdul Hamid, 10 cabin crew members, and 227 passengers.
Was this plane ever found? I don't know. I don't know.
Malaysian 370, Lumpur radar, good morning. Climb flight level 250. Morning, level
Thanks for the bits,
250,
the
Malaysian 370. Malaysian 370, climb flight level 350. Climb level 350, Malaysian 370.
Less than an hour into the flight, the plane is cruising over the South China Sea at an altitude of 35,000 feet. The night sky is clear, and the weather
They
is
found
calm.
pieces, but not the whole
Flight
thing.
370 is then instructed to signal air traffic control in Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam, as it is about to enter Vietnamese airspace. The flight controller in Kuala Lumpur says goodnight, with no sign that anything should be amiss.
Malaysian 370, maintaining level 350. Malaysian 370. Malaysian 370, maintaining level 350. Malaysian 370. Malaysian 370, contact Ho Chi Minh 120.9. Good night. Good night, Malaysian 370.
Thanks, 3 sub acid redemption. Yeah, I know
1
Jeremy
minute
do it.
And 43 seconds later, the aircraft suddenly vanish from radar screens at Kuala Lumpur, Ho Chi Minh, and Bangkok.
What?
This form of positional tracking depends on a signal being
quickly?
emitted by one of 2 transponders aboard a plane, and so its disappearance would suggest both transponders ceased to function, or the system was manually deactivated by someone on board. All subsequent attempts to contact and ascertain the whereabouts of Flight 370 are unsuccessful. The aircraft has seemingly vanished without a trace. After missing its scheduled time of arrival in Beijing some 4 hours later, Flight
Thanks, Yusuf
370
Snarly.
is officially declared missing. And in the wake of that announcement, the most expensive search effort in aviation history is about to commence.
And then I remember like a year after this, Malaysian Airlines also had another plane go missing or another accident, I don't recall. But that one was really fucking eerie, because one of the passengers had tweeted, "Here's my flight if it goes missing," and then it actually fucking did.
Of the flight's disappearance between the South China Sea and the Gulf of Thailand. The search area was soon expanded, however, after the Malaysian military disclosed additional information. Unlike the radar system employed by air traffic control, long-range military radar does not rely on
the
transponders
Gronkowskis.
but use reflectance to track the position
Just done
of
work with them
targets. A
through the
review of the
company and
data
then became
collected by the
friends.
Malaysian military revealed that moments after contact with Flight 370 was lost, the aircraft had deviated from its scheduled flight path with a subtle turn to the right,
Yeah, you just haven't
followed
found
by
it
a prolonged
scary.
turn to the left. The aircraft had then flown back towards and across the Malaysian peninsula before turning right near the island of Penang. It maintained this northwesterly heading until it escaped the radar's coverage. Over the next few days, the Strait of Malacca, the Andaman Sea, and the Bay of Bengal was scoured by a multinational fleet of aircraft and vessels, but there was no trace of Flight 370. Meanwhile, investigators began to analyze the aircraft's satellite communication records.
What the
Like
fuck?
all modern airliners, Flight 370 was equipped with a satellite communications terminal, or SATCOM, to send and receive transmissions to and from the ground. Prior to departure, the SATCOM terminal had logged onto the satellite network and established a connection with a ground station in Perth, Australia. That station then maintained a detailed record of all the incoming and outgoing traffic between it and Flight 370. This is what it contained. Prior to the flight's disappearance over the South China Sea, everything appeared to be working as intended. Then, at some point during this portion of the flight, the SATCOM link was severed.
What happened? Did they see like a fucking dragon in the sky and just like get the fuck away from it?
3 minutes after the
Jesus
flight
Christ.
vanished over the Andaman Sea, the terminal requested to log back onto the network. The SATCOM link was successfully re-established and was not disrupted again until nearly 6 hours later, when the flight is presumed to have crashed due to fuel exhaustion. During these final hours, 2 attempts were made to contact the plane via satellite telephone. Both calls were acknowledged by the SATCOM terminal and would have been routed to the cockpit. Yet, they went unanswered. The terminal had also responded to 5 automatic status requests. In short, if the ground station had not heard from the aircraft in over an hour, it would transmit a signal to confirm the terminal was still online.
It's a real story.
While these transmissions did not contain any information about the flight's position, investigators were able to measure the distance between the satellite and the aircraft at the time of each transmission, based on how long it took those transmissions to be sent and received. This generated 7 rings of possible locations from which 7 of these transmissions are thought to have originated. By taking fuel consumption, speed, and other factors into account, flight path analysis indicated the most probable origin of the final transmission to be somewhere along this arc in the southern Indian Ocean. The search effort shifted accordingly, and as the region fell within the jurisdiction of Australia, the Australian government took charge of the operation. Over the next few weeks, the search area was progressively refined to account for oceanic drift as well as improved estimations of the flight path. But this part of the southern Indian Ocean is so remote it took 6 days just to get there. A new fleet of aircraft and vessels gradually covered more than 4.5 million square kilometers of ocean, but Flight 370 was nowhere to be found. If the impact with the ocean had been sufficiently forceful, it was possible the resulting sound had been recorded by underwater listening devices known as hydrophones. This possibility was investigated, and 4 hydroacoustic monitoring stations had recorded something.
It is crazy how much shit there is, like, already in the world. Like, if it crashes in the middle of nowhere, luckily we still have these robo-lizards that we have just for monitoring. Might be picked up by one of those.
While the timing and direction of the sound were reasonably consistent with the final satellite transmission, the estimated origin was not. The sound was in all likelihood caused by nothing more than geological activity. Flight 370 was also equipped with 2 underwater locator beacons which had a battery life of some 40 days, and as the deadline approached in early April, signals with a pulse and frequency somewhat similar to the signal emitted by the beacons were detected at depths of up to 3,000 meters. An autonomous submersible then spent weeks scanning the seafloor where the signals had been detected, but no wreckage was ever found. And nothing would be found until more than 16 months later, when a discovery was made on the opposite side of the Indian Ocean. On the 29th of July 2015, a group of people were cleaning up a beach in Reunion, a small island to the east of Madagascar, when they stumbled upon this 2-meter-long metallic object covered in barnacles. Aviation experts quickly identified the object as a section of an aircraft.
I guess I've never seen a barnacle. Looks like it's fucking growing almonds. Or like little sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds or something. Damn, barnacles are fucking weird.
Covered in barnacles. Aviation experts quickly identified the object as a section of an aircraft wing known as a flaperon. Upon closer inspection, internal markings including dates and serial numbers conclusively ascertained the flaperon belonged to Flight 370. Even though Reunion Island is some 4,000 kilometers west of the search area, and more than a year had gone by since the flight disappeared, the location was consistent with simulations of debris dispersal patterns. There was now tangible evidence that Flight 370 had crashed somewhere in the Indian Ocean. The discovery of the flaperon prompted numerous searches along beaches and shorelines of southeastern Africa, and at least 31 additional items of interest have since been recovered and examined. Some of these items include a section of the outboard flap from the right wing, a piece of cowling from one of the two engines, a partial door from the nose landing gear, a section of the vertical stabilizer.
I fucking hate airplanes, man.
From one of the embedded headrests.
This is why I don't fly. This shit is terrifying.
18 of these items were identified as either likely, highly likely, or almost certain to have originated from Flight 370, whereas only 3 could be confirmed. The remaining 11 could not be identified. There were no traces of an explosion found on any of the debris tested, nor was there any evidence of a fire except for 3 small burn marks on one of the unidentifiable items. The search for debris was further aided by Earth observation satellites. Analyses of satellite imagery from March of 2014 uncovered a number of images which appeared to feature man-made objects floating on or just below the surface in the southern Indian Ocean. However, the images were not nearly sharp enough to resolve any identifiable markings, and multiple searches notwithstanding, this debris was never recovered. A satellite image taken mere hours after the final transmission also captured what appeared to be a contrail some distance away from the search area. A later analysis, however, concluded it was most likely a shadow from a somewhat linear cloud formation. The underwater portion of the search continued for months and eventually years before it was finally suspended in early 2017, by which point
they gave up.
120,000 square kilometers of seabed had been scrutinized. The search effort was then resumed by an American salvage company known as Ocean Infinity, but after more than a year of searching,
Well, how would
too
they have done
came
that,
up
Ryan?
empty-handed. Unless the final resting place of Flight 370 can be located, it may be impossible to determine exactly why it crashed. Nevertheless, there have been no shortage of theories. On the day of the disappearance, 2 of the passengers raised suspicion as they had boarded the flight with stolen passports, which immediately prompted concerns of a hijacking. But investigators were unable to link the 2 men to any terrorist organizations, and soon determined they had traveled under false identities because they were seeking asylum, not due to any nefarious intent.
Yeah, like hijacking wouldn't make any sense. They didn't make any demands.
Passengers were identified as a flight engineer who might have possessed the necessary expertise to take control of a Boeing 777. Apart from the 239 persons on board, Flight 370 carried nearly 11 metric tons of cargo. Among the items listed on the flight manifest was a shipment of lithium-ion batteries, which led some to suspect a fire might have broken out mid-flight. For instance, the crash of
Why do we
UPS
still
Airlines
use lithium
Flight 6
batteries?
in September of 2010
Nothing good comes
was the
from that
result
shit.
of a fire that was ignited by a pallet of lithium-ion batteries. Another potential source of ignition would be an electrical malfunction. The crash of Swiss Air Flight 111 in September of 1998 is thought to have been caused by a fire within the electrical wiring above
My
the
phone
cockpit.
doesn't use lithium-ion batteries, ion batteries. It's an iPhone.
Including the
It uses
transponders
children's
and
tears to
SATCOM.
power it.
In the case of Flight 370, the sudden loss of communication and subsequent deviation
Makes
from
it
its
tier 1,
scheduled
hello there.
flight path might have been a direct response to a fire. The 2 pilots may have turned back towards Malaysia to attempt an emergency landing at the nearest suitable airport. But no such attempt was ever made. Instead, Flight 370 kept going and remained aloft for another 6 hours. Some have theorized the crew might have been incapacitated by a sudden or gradual loss of cabin pressure. For instance, when Helios Airways Flight 522 failed to pressurize in August of 2005, the pilots quickly fell unconscious. Yet the aircraft continued to fly on autopilot for more than 2 hours until it ran out of fuel. Airline pilots are of course trained for such an event.
Wait, what
in the event of cabin
fuck?
depressurization, fell unconscious.
Wait, did it crash or did it land itself? What the fuck? We have the capability for the plane to just completely fly itself on the pattern? I thought you still needed the pilot present to guide it. I thought it was just kind of like activating cruise control in your car. Hold on a second. Did it crash or did it like just have a successful landing all autonomously? Oh, it crashed. Oh, fuck. So it didn't pressurize and everyone was incapacitated. Holy shit. Oh, did he say it crashed? Oh, I just looked at this. I didn't even notice it said crashed. Well, that'll do it. Thanks to the resub, Erotic and J. Cuddy.
Yet the aircraft continued to fly on autopilot for more than 2 hours until it ran out of fuel. Airline pilots are of course trained for such an event. In the event of cabin depressurization, an automatic system is designed to deploy oxygen masks to give the pilots enough time to perform an emergency descent to a more breathable altitude. The data recorded by the Malaysian military radar does indeed contain altitude information, but it is highly inconsistent. In fact, the Boeing 777 is incapable of performing the extreme altitude fluctuations recorded. At one point, the aircraft exceeded its maximum operating altitude by more than 15,000 feet, before making a 50,000 feet nosedive in less than a minute. Attempts to recreate these maneuvers on a flight simulator were unsuccessful, and thus the data was deemed inaccurate and unreliable. If Flight 370 did lose cabin pressure at 35,000 feet, and the pilots were incapacitated before descending to a more oxygenated altitude, it might explain why the aircraft remained aloft for as long as it did. What is a bit more difficult to explain, however, are these alterations in heading. Flight simulations have established the aircraft must have been under manual control during the initial left turn, as the bank angle or inclination of that turn was beyond the limits of the autopilot. Subsequent turns, however, could have been either manual or automatic. But for the autopilot to have made these course corrections, someone with the requisite knowledge must have programmed it to do so. The only other alternative is that the aircraft was in fact under manual control.
Thanks for the bits, Beef, and hello there. Yeah, I was talking about it the other day, hello there. I still haven't caught up on all of it, but yeah, it's a pretty fucked situation.
In late June of 2014, several news outlets reported that a special investigation had identified the captain of Flight 370 as a prime suspect. A search of the captain's home had uncovered a flight simulator which supposedly contained a suspicious route which ended in the southern Indian Ocean. At the time, there was no official acknowledgement that such a route had been recovered, and a lengthy public report issued by the Malaysian government in 2015 made no mention of such a discovery. Then, in 2016, confidential documents pertaining to a forensic examination conducted by the Royal Malaysia Police in May of 2014 was leaked to the media. These documents made it clear that such a route had not only been recovered, but thoroughly examined. Soon thereafter, the Malaysian government confirmed the existence of this simulated flight path, and this is what it looks like. It should come as no surprise that many regard this as damning evidence of premeditation, but according to investigators, it is not quite so evident. The data recovered consists of 7 coordinates, 2 in Kuala Lumpur, 2 in the Strait of Malacca,
what was he planning to do? Drive it straight to fucking Antarctica?
And 2 in the southern Indian Ocean. The data was reconstructed from a file that had been automatically generated and saved by the simulation software a month before the incident. However, it's not clear whether the coordinates originate from the same flight session. In other words, it might not be correct to simply trace a continuous line between these 7 coordinates, as they could be from separate sessions. The forensic examination by the Royal Malaysia Police simply concluded no activity captured conclusively indicate any kind of premeditated act pertaining to the incident of MH370.
There's a bit sweeper.
Even so, the similarities between the simulated route and the presumed route of Flight 370 directly influenced the search operation. Australian investigators considered the possibility of someone deliberately extending the range of the flight by gliding the aircraft off the fuel exhaustion. If so, the plane could have traveled an additional 200 kilometers. Alternatively, the range could have been reduced by a controlled ditching prior to fuel exhaustion. While ultimately deemed unlikely, these 2 scenarios did affect the search effort. If the captain steered Flight 370 off course with the intention of crashing in a remote part of the southern Indian Ocean, his motive is an even greater mystery. Sahari Ahmad Shah was 53 and married with 3 children. He had more than 18,000 hours of flight experience and a spotless track record. Investigators found no evidence of financial issues, and his monthly expenses before the disappearance indicated nothing unusual. He had no history of mental illness, nor had he displayed any recent changes in lifestyle or behavior. He was raised on the island of Penang, which has led some to speculate the flight's second turn to the southwest of Penang was the captain getting a final view of his hometown. Some believe a hijacking could have been politically motivated, as Zahari was an avid supporter of a democratic opposition leader who was sentenced to 5 years in prison mere hours before Flight 370 took off. Others point to unconfirmed reports of marital issues, but this is contradicted by the official investigation and disputed by family members. The only real inconsistency noted by the final report is that the captain failed to repeat the assigned radio frequency during the last verbal communication.
Malaysian 370, contact Ho Chi Minh 120.9. Good night. Good night, Malaysian 370.
It would have been standard procedure to repeat the assigned frequency, as the captain had correctly done a few minutes prior.
370, contact Lampu Radar 1326, good night.
Alright, 1326 Malaysian 370.
Whether this omission is indicative of anything but a mistake is anyone's best guess.
Yeah, I don't think that means
shit. By all accounts, Captain Zahari was an affable and well-respected pilot who was passionate about aviation, as evident by the photos and videos he shared on social media.
Hi everyone, this is a YouTube video that I made.
Oh, that's kind of cute.
Community service after learning.
The co-pilot was found to be even less conspicuous. Farik Abdul Hamid was only 27, and due to marry a fellow pilot, he had nearly 3,000 hours of flight experience, although only 39 hours in this type of aircraft. Much like Zahari, Farik had no financial, mental or interpersonal issues of note, nor was there any evidence of conflict between the two of them. Some questioned the plausibility of a pilot-instigated hijacking due to the apparent lack of interference by the other pilot. Well, when Ethiopian Airlines Flight 702 was hijacked by the co-pilot in February of 2014, he did so by merely waiting for the captain to take a bathroom break before locking the cockpit door behind him. The co-pilot was then free to divert the Italy-bound flight to Switzerland to seek asylum. The only noteworthy piece of evidence in regards to the co-pilot of Flight 370 is his phone. You see, when the confidential documents were leaked, they also confirmed another long-circulated rumor, namely that a cell phone tower had briefly established a connection with an iPhone 5S belonging to the co-pilot as Flight 370 approached the island of Penang. According to investigators, it was not a phone call, as has been widely reported by the media, but merely an automatic location signal. Why this information was omitted from public reports, we may never know. So what is one to make of all of this? On the one hand, the simulated flight path seems suspicious. On the other, it is difficult to cast any substantial doubt on either of the two pilots' character.
Yeah, I mean, the dude seems nice. Like, I don't think
to deny a hijacking is consistent with the available evidence. Then again, we're missing some quite major and literal pieces of evidence. The final report issued by the Malaysian government in 2018 could not attribute the loss of communication nor diversion of Flight 370 to a malfunction. Instead, it is believed that someone manually manipulated the aircraft and its systems. For instance, investigators believe SATCOM was manually disabled by a sudden and prolonged interruption of power. Then, once power was restored, the terminal simply rebooted. Likewise, the alterations in heading are believed to be the result of manual inputs. With that being said, the uncertainty of these findings are repeatedly emphasized due to the limited evidence available, and the report does never explicitly state the flight was hijacked. In fact, no real conclusion is reached. Both the Malaysian and Australian government agree that Flight 370 crashed in the southern Indian Ocean, but that the cause is indeterminable without the wreckage, the location of which has managed to elude some of the foremost aviation experts in the world, as well as an impressive arsenal of cutting-edge technology for more than half a decade. Authors, aviation experts, and independent investigators have all chimed in to offer their own thoughts and theories as to the nature of the crash and the location of the wreckage. Some believe there was no crash, but that the aircraft was shot down by an American naval base in the middle of the Indian Ocean. The satellite transmissions were then supposedly
That wouldn't make
forged
any
as
sense,
part of
though.
a massive cover-up.
Wouldn't explain
Others
this.
believe the aircraft turned right towards India and traveled as far north as Kazakhstan, completely undetected. Debris was then supposedly planted along shorelines of southeastern Africa as part of a massive cover-up.
That makes sense, I guess.
Another theory suggests the aircraft was remotely hijacked and controlled by someone on the ground.
Thanks to Prime
While
Greg.
Boeing and other companies have experimented with technology that would allow for an aircraft to be remotely controlled, no commercial airliner is known to be outfitted with such a system. On the less conspiratorial side, the assumption that Flight 370 flew in a straight line and at a constant speed after turning left towards the southern Indian Ocean might simply be incorrect. In early 2018, a French team of independent investigators proposed an alternate flight path, whereby an attempted landing on Christmas Island led to a crash site much further north than the region identified by the
Christmas Island, huh?
While a surface search of this area was conducted about a week after the disappearance,
what are the odds?
The underwater phase never reached this far north.
Thanks to the resub, Jimmy.
As of the making of this video, the search operation has been suspended, but there have been talks of potentially resuming the search. For now, it seems, the vanishing of Flight 370 will remain a mystery.
I had no idea it was that deep. From what I remember, I thought it was just pretty well understood that it crashed. And I thought it was just like a straight line and then something happened, they didn't know what. I had no idea there was this whole like turn, all this shit. I had no clue. That is so fucking weird. So the first turn had to be manual. They had to manually turn off the systems like shit. Why do people keep saying shot down? That wouldn't make any sense. That doesn't explain this at all. And also why the systems would be turned off. It was shot down by 5G towers. Yeah, maybe that makes more sense. Thanks for the gift sub, Skittle, and the resub, Jimmy. What an interesting fucking mystery, man. Yeah, I fucking hate planes. If even one plane malfunctions and crashes, I'm never going on one. It's fucking horrifying. I wish we could just have some sci-fi shit, or it's just a giant portal that rips through space-time continuum, so that way you don't have to be, like, reatomized. You just, like in Jumper, you know? Or not Jumper. Doctor Strange. You just open this giant thing and you see the other side and you just step right through. Simple. And a dead MMO? Is it this one? This one's 34 minutes. Wait, this one's kind of like a fucking fat one. And it's already 1:30. We can let it ride. Fuck it. Thanks to the resub, Mamalona. Maybe Soul Eater. And thanks to the Prime Lux.
Welcome to Worlds Online, the internet's first 3D virtual world platform.
Woohoo! 3D! That's crazy! We can fucking smell and go wild in here.
Virtual space, online users can shop, watch movies, listen to music, play games, and collaborate with each other. Today's web user is looking
Tom
for
Brady?
an intimate connection with friends, with celebrities, and with trending brands that reflect their values and lifestyle in both the real world and the virtual. By investing in Worlds, you are investing in the future. Worlds.com.
All good, Raiders. Just ask him out.
Together.
Throughout the mid-2010s, an urban legend would surface about a mysterious MMO by the name of Worlds.com.
Thanks to the resub, Chippewa, and the Tier 1
Having
cuddles.
been launched to the public in the mid-1990s, the game was believed by many to be dead, discontinued, and lost to the inevitable void of internet history.
Where?
Unbeknownst to most,
How do
this
people even
couldn't
find
have been further
that?
from the truth, as Worlds.com was very much still running. But there was a catch. Venturing into the game today presents you with
This looks
extreme
cool.
land of nothingness, a relic that
What
was
the
once
fuck?
bustling with life, and
You
a
get to play as a
deserving
duck or a
that's clinging
penguin?
to life supports. The game, expectedly, is completely empty.
Thanks for the 5 gift subs, 28 down. Appreciate it.
You see, rumor had it that Worlds.com was hiding something, a shrouded purpose that's been kept from the public. Rumors involving in-game cults, boxing, graphic imagery, and virtual stalking have led curious minds to hesitantly venture into Worlds themselves in hopes of finding out if these allegations were true.
What the fuck? That's nuts!
So back.
Alright.
This is the story of Worlds.com.
Alright, I'm super invested in this now. Is it a cool cult? Did they do cool things like give out candy on holidays and stuff? Or one of those bad ones like the Manson shit?
An aside. The 1990s were a magical time in the world of entertainment and the advancement of society. Being what I can only describe as the calm before the imminent mid-2000s technological storm, we were living in an era that brought us some unforgettable treasures in the realms of video gaming, movies,
Yeah,
and television.
blockbuster, classic, fuck
In the
yeah.
gaming world, for instance, new and unforgettable IPs such as Mario Kart,
Yeah, agreed, Soul Eater.
Banjo-Kazooie, Fallout, Resident Evil, and Silent Hill were born. And with these came game consoles that have stood the test of time and bringing us unforgettable experiences such as the Super Nintendo, PlayStation 1, and the Dreamcast.
God, the Dreamcast was so good, the most underrated console in history, Power Stone. We need a third Power Stone, please? So good. Sugoi! Fuck, it was so good.
That predated the modern interconnected society that we live in today. A lot of nostalgia is carried inside of many, as the mid-1990s are remembered as a time when the internet was just barely getting its footing into mainstream culture.
Niggas of
Personal
Prime
computers
Ireland.
during this era were nothing but an expensive novelty, at least for my family, and the ones that did have one used them primarily for work. In August of
True cuddles.
1995, Microsoft would release a revolutionary competitor to the Netscape Navigator, the pre-existing OG of internet browsing, called the Internet Explorer.
Yeah.
If you were lucky enough to get your hands on a PC in this era, then, combined with the tools at your disposal in Windows 95, you were able to venture into the vast, wild west of an enigma known as the World Wide Web.
God, the internet back then was so wild and
In today's
wacky.
culture, things have changed.
I'll never forget when I was
Social media,
horny and typed in
discussion
like
boards, and
boobies
websites in
and went to
general
a site that
have
had a
all
demon
become
on it.
sterilized,
Haunted.
being pushed to the brink of minimalism and moderation. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, but a lot of the magic and charm that existed in the wacky and terribly designed UIs of the past are largely gone, replaced by logos containing simple shapes, any shred of creative color being replaced by whites, and all-encompassing oversimplification of pretty much everything. As you've heard in my incessant rambling so far, the era was magical, and a lot of newfound creative mediums were on the rise. While video gaming via a conventional console was the primary method of escaping into a mystic world, the rise of the internet paved the path for a new form of interactive storytelling and interconnected social experiences.
Gaming.
And those were a little something
For
we now know
gamers.
as MMOs,
Oh.
or massive
Kinda.
multiplayer online video games.
I'm really sorry to hear that, bro. Wishing you the best moving forward. It's awful.
Of the many websites that were available to early adopters of the internet, one would be launched in April of 1995.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see
with the
that,
name of
dog.
Worlds.com.
My bad, man.
The website was created by a
Thank
company
you.
simply named Worlds Inc. and housed a public 3D chat room that players could enter and explore to their heart's content. According to the website, the minimum configuration is a 90 MHz or faster processor with 32 megabytes of memory. The recommended platform is a Pentium class processor.
Okay. Real quick, is it just me, or on his voice, is there like a really low voice layered into it? Is it just my headphones, or am I hearing like a fucking MMO demon in there? Yeah? Okay, cool. So it's not just me. I didn't know if my headphones were dying or if Satan was communicating through Lil Nas's music and infiltrating or something like that. Fucking weirding me out. No one else mentioned it in the chat.
133 megahertz or faster with 48 megabytes of memory. Windows 95, 98, 2000, or NT. A whopping 80 megabytes of
Thanks to Risa,
hard
Red
drive
Rider, and
space
Marksman.
and an active internet connection. The game was a big success, mostly attributed to the novelty of virtual online chat rooms at the time, and garnered the attention of various big names, including David Bowie, Steven Spielberg, and a digital artist by the name of Tamiko Thiel. The latter two actually teamed up at one point and created an in-game environment called the Starbright World, which was aimed at giving seriously ill children an outlet to interact. The gameplay is mostly what you'd expect from something out of the mid-1990s. At the outset of registering your profile, players are given the opportunity to choose between various avatars to represent themselves in-game. Among them are a human, a penguin, a monster, a kangaroo, and a clown.
Good selections.
Advertising
Not
on
bad.
websites are various realms.
Oh,
that
and
are
you can be on the
available for you to
Yankees?
Explore at your leisure. Among the hundreds that you're able to choose from, a few notable ones include worlds themed around David Bowie, the New York Yankees, the band Hanson, the Sky, an Animal House, and a Fun House.
Thanks to Resub.
Venturing out into worlds for the first time,
Spionix?
you're thrown into a central hub with other players from around the world. The various themed environments that we mentioned prior are accessible through tunnels and doors that are next to their labels, and entering these immediately loads whichever one you so choose.
Pretty innovative for its
Like
time, to
any
be
3D
fair.
PC game is achieved using your keyboard and mouse, and also available to you is a chat box,
Next
allowing
Prime.
you to communicate to
Again,
others
Grinna.
in real time. Now this seems like nothing out of the ordinary. Along with the primitive graphics, the game is pretty substandard today. At the time though, this was absolutely groundbreaking, and PC owners flooded this thing, giving it a burst of life that would deem Worlds.com a massive success.
Fuck yeah.
As with anything that's been crafted in the digital age though, the user base began to decline over the years. With the
Kinda
advent
seen
of
it.
various
More like
competitors,
Second Life.
The mid-2000s brought with it the inevitable desertion of the Worlds.com user base as players moved on to bigger and better ventures. Second Life, RuneScape, Toontown, VMK, MyCoke,
Habbo
and
Hotel.
Habbo Hotel
Yeah, I knew it
were
was
becoming
coming.
viable alternatives that not only looked better, but gave players more to do with their own distinct charm. You may have noticed that most of the names
Soon,
that start
Rotok.
off are now defunct. The Toontown, VMK, and MyCoke live support plugs were pulled as their developers encountered an existential problem that was prevalent from the start. They couldn't find a way to monetize them. Combined with this, the fact that these games were all run with the help of moderation teams and ongoing servers, it became evident that as long as these virtual worlds were online, whoever it was that was running them was losing money. At this point, you'd expect Worlds Inc. to pull the plug. With the dwindling user base and aging game mechanics, it seemed like this was the only sensible way to go.
Oh, giant spider, watch out, holy shit!
Or release something new and optimized for the next generation of online gaming. But they didn't.
Damn, this place is popping off
As
in
a matter
there.
of fact, Worlds.com is still downloadable and accessible to this day, and stands as an uncanny and deserted relic of the past.
This is cool.
Rumor has it that the game's creator,
I wanna play.
Tom Kidron, is simply fronting the server costs himself and running it out of his own home.
Good man.
That begs the question,
Thanks.
why on earth would an individual be fronting the costs to keep a dead video game alive? What part of this?
He's got a
landscape
virtual girlfriend with
is
big
so
titties.
pivotal that it's still in existence over 20 years later?
This looks so cool, look at this.
In the short span of time that I've been here, it suddenly dawned on me that I'm visibly the new guy. Everyone here seems to know it.
Uh-oh.
I'm not a regular.
They think he's a cop. They think he's the feds.
Comfortable. Down the rabbit hole.
Run, get out of there! Engage, no clip. Thanks to Resub Broden and Kenway. Yeah, someone is still running the servers, he just said that.
Rumors began to spread about the game thanks to certain anons from 4chan's VNX boards. Allegedly, there existed potentially illegal and cult-like behavior from the game's handful of players during that time period. As you'd expect, upon catching wind of this, the rest of 4chan did what they do and went in to investigate. Before we continue, I wanted to make something explicitly clear. In my hunting, it dawned on me that these allegations surfaced at a point in time that predated the year 2012. I say this because the oldest records that I've been able to dig up are from that year. Unfortunately, most of the archives, images, and audio files that we're going to get into have been lost to time.
What?
However, there are some that allow us to piece together a cohesive storyline as to what actually went on in Worlds.com. So let's talk about the game itself. A major element at the game's core was the ability for users to create and host their own customized universes.
Wait, I'm confused. What does he say? So everything here,
Shaper.
2012? What?
Much like Minecraft, if someone chose to do so, they could create their own server, build what they want, and invite certain players through a downloadable file that's accessible through Shaper. Many of these became archived on various websites, and even today, there are download links out there to access certain
Everything
custom
dated
worlds.
before 2012 are lost.
Effectively,
Okay.
the possibilities were endless, and harnessing the
Resub Omni.
creative freedom that they were given, players were able to create some admittedly impressive worlds. Now that it's died down, though, things have become a bit darker. A bit more controversial.
I'm not sure about Second Life having a cult.
While there are groups of people that are or might be strange in their own right, there are two that have starkly stood out to me as the most mysterious. Two users, a Jimbly and a Nexialist. Interestingly, both have crossed paths in the game. However, their stories couldn't be further apart. Contrary to Nexialist, the stories surrounding Jimbly seemed a bit more grounded in reality. But we'll get to it.
So what are this? Are those like the two raid bosses or something in here? The two different big groups?
First, I'd like to introduce you to Nexialist. According to an early 2012 blog by the name of ForgottenWorlds.com, the profile piece on him states the following. Nexialist is a regular at Worlds.com that has been trying to pull in the VNX boards to play this game. Nexialist is a successful user that's been able to get a cult following in the game, which is hard to do. He constantly reaches out to dedicated players to join him, as he seems to be called the Key Bearer.
Key Bearer.
Around the game without
Okay.
chatting. This isn't even close to covering entirely who this guy is rumored to be, so allow me to pick up where they left off. According to 4chan and various message boards, Nexialist is abstruse, a shred of indecipherable mystery that's lurked Worlds.com for what some believe to be as long as the early 2000s. Encountering him,
This is wacky.
and it's been rumored that you don't actually find him, he finds you. Upon discovering you, he'll approach you without words, standing as what appears to be a lifeless corpse as you begin to quietly panic at his disturbing avatar. After the initial shock dies down, you're told to follow him, and as a result, you embark on a journey through hellish customized corridors that bear satanic symbolism and graphic imagery.
Who is this guy? Can we get an update on the guy playing Professor Utonium? Where does he fit into this grand scheme?
After your tour, Nexialist will begin sending you disturbing audio files that I wasn't able to find archives for. But if we go by descriptions from 4chaners, it's safe to assume that these sound like the distorted deaths of dying animals. Once you're scared to your wits' end and you leave the game, he already knows that you're going to go to 4chan to talk about it, because that's what he wants you to do. Spread the word, get people talking, and the next sucker that grows a sliver of curiosity and decides to check it out is his next victim. Unfortunately, this all reads like an urban legend. People have been able to capture screenshots and video of Nexialist over the years, but not much, aside from very few outliers, have been found that outlines what I'm describing. Because of that, I'd like to put a pin in this arcane figure and circle back on him later, because
This is the game Vinesauce played,
I'd
Vinny?
like to bring you into.
Is it? Someone I saw on one of those threads. And he didn't encounter Nexialist?
The Hidden Worlds website that I mentioned earlier serves as a diary of the experiences that a man named
Hey,
George
thank you,
Costanza
Deathstorm.
had witnessed when he first played Worlds. According to his blog, he found a bizarre network that this Jimbly guy seems to be running, and the entries on his website outline a considerable amount of information that I'd like to dive into and unpack. The very first post on the website was made on January 5th, 2012. It reads as follows. Well, I started playing this game called Worlds.com. Seemed innocent, but according to V, it has some fucked up things from the past. Everything's forgotten here, and in a group we explored the game. In the coming days we'll share our stories and pictures here. Further on that day, another post was made outlining Jimbly's supposed network and its inner workings. The game started as
Interesting,
innocent.
Soul Eater.
We had gags while we explored the worlds, skeletons popping out, and finding Pegasus. Things a person could expect from playing Roblox or other games where your creations are welcome. But things turned bizarre. Our friend Grad, as we called him, was showing us these rooms that I mentioned, and eventually we ended up in a lobby filled with brown doors with text on them. These doors had the creator's name and a description of the level or world. This guy, Bilbo99, had messed up levels with Easter eggs everywhere, and we praised him for his creepiness. And then I noticed at the right corner of my window said erotic in
Hey,
This
Jimbly!
map was Jimbly's creation.
Fuck yeah,
It was
look at
filled
him.
with
He's having
shops
fun.
like Starbucks. However, things would take a turn. You see, there was a person that contacted me named Megalik. Her or his avatar
Thanks, Resub
was
Crabs.
of a bird or an angel. She claimed that she was new in the world, as I was, but she'd been playing this game for a week and already gotten dirty and knew what this shit was really about. To act new is a common trick to bait new players. Anyway, Jimbly had a network that was serious. How serious? To enter his network,
Whoa!
you need to provide mugshots. For example, here's Bilbo99. There were a total
Hey,
of 3
Bilbo.
rooms filled with different mugshots of users, but room 2 was dedicated to Jimbly.
Hold on. Let me go to the bathroom real quick. Give me 2 seconds. Sorry to blue ball you. Alright, I'm fucking back. Ended up taking a shit. Jump scared myself with my own fart. Pretty wild series of events. Let's go.
So we scavenged for Megalik and found this.
Well, I can't do that right now, Radis. You're gonna have to ask a mod.
One thing I found that was standing out was a user named Kelikar. She was in the porn gallery, and I compiled this. It seems like someone has stalked her, and the rooms were labeled Kelicat. This user must have been a fat cat in the network. As you can see, Kelikat's written there, so what Jimbly does now is retrieving nude pictures of regulars that are still left. Megalik was the proof that we needed, since she'd only been playing for a week tops.
Wow, Jesus, Jimbly.
Below this, George displays the various screen caps that he was able to take of the various mugshots of different users. Of the bunch, he was even able to grab a few of Jimbly himself. Intrigued by this atypical finding, he decided that him and his group of friends wanted to investigate a bit on their new friend.
I don't think I've
Megalik.
seen that, Cumgar.
As it turns out, there was a bit more going on with them than they initially thought. And yet another post from the same day, titled Megalik, a man or a woman, he describes the following. Megalik's nudes that could be found in the other post seemed too good to be true. Her head was cropped out and with the body of a young woman, while her mugshot shows an older woman in her 40s, and that picture's really old. What does that leave us with? She could have faked them because she doesn't want
So how is this a cult? I'm a little
to be a
confused.
man playing as a female.
Seems like a
Doesn't
Reddit
make
mod using his power to get
Discovered her
pictures.
real email, although it's linked to a man by the name of John. John's in his 50s, seems to enjoy MMOs.
Thanks to
while
Tier
his
1
wife
Biscuit
doesn't
Boy.
show any interest of games, and has her only Facebook activity labeled as kids. So yes, Megalik might be or is the man posing as a fragile woman while baiting for pictures. Those pictures up there, except for his profile picture, is a year old. The pictures are from 2009, and then he used a picture of his wife to verify himself, and thought how cool it would be to send a fake picture of a pair of tits to make him look like a god in the game.
Okay. Classic John, I guess.
Network encompasses some extremely odd people. People that are impersonating others and using real-world mugshots to gain access to whatever it is that he's running. One might go as far to say that Deadliest isn't the cult leader here, but rather, it's Jimbly, as most of the rumors about the former seem to relate to what we found with the latter. In a third post I'd like to focus on, titled Jimbly's Inner Circle,
oh, sweet. Well, thank you,
George
Spooky.
proceeds to explain the following. The last post was about this weird map, about a man going by the name Jimbly that was trying to get naked pictures from regulars, or old players that were still active. So we stalked him. He hung out at a beach, but once we arrived, they'd all scatter and disappear. Thankfully, though, the friend tool and a built-in avatar tool could let us teleport to them while
wow, good shit.
but that was for later. Meanwhile, we scavenged the net for Jimbly. We found his website, jimblyworlds.com.
Whoa, Jimbly.
jimblyworlds.com/pics, only to show a black screen with red typed text that said darkness.
Pretty cool website.
George reveals publicly accessible information about Jimbly, including an email address, before closing his post with the revelation that also, Jimbly's into traps. This can be found in his porn gallery. With this in the back of our mind, you know I couldn't just let this go. I had to get in. I had to find out if this was real.
There's no way it'd still be
I
up.
emailed Jimbly and began my hunt.
What would it be, 7 years later?
Jeremy Erickson. I start a message and write the following. Good evening, Jimbly. I've recently started playing Worlds and was interested in joining your in-game network to congregate with yourself and other players. Upon consulting with a few anons from X, I was told to reach out. I've downloaded a few worlds from your websites and am currently trying to get them working. Just let me know what I need to do when I'm in. Thanks, Jeremy.
This really doesn't seem like a cult though, it's just a weird community.
So
Maybe
it's
it
been a
gets
few
culty
days.
now.
After a trek through worlds, a lack of a response, and dwindling time to wait, it's beginning to seem like Jimbly either isn't currently active or simply doesn't play this anymore. Though I have a hard time believing that, considering the fact that the Whois domain search on his websites reveals that it was updated on November 5th of 2019. I'm not entirely sure if Jimbly's the kind of guy that would have a sudden change of heart, but if you ask me, it is a bit recent. Anyway, with that under our belt, unfortunately, heading back to the blog reveals that most of the other threads outline mundane discoveries while exploring various official and user-crafted worlds. A few notable highlights include some of Jimbly's bizarre creations.
Hey, that's
other
Banger
threads
Sisters, I think?
remotely relevant to our investigation.
Saw that movie a long time ago.
Even so, the discoveries surrounding Gem are nothing short of unnerving. So what's actually going on here?
Here's the Prime Purple Elite. So far, I haven't really seen anything too wild here. I was expecting something
Over the
fucking
years,
crazy.
The primary consensus
In fact,
surrounding
I
Worlds,
don't even know what
primarily
we've
given
learned
in
other than
Cialist, was that it's a front.
These people
for some
play an
sort
old
of
game and are
satanic
kind of
cult.
weird.
Rumors are powerful things. I won't deny that, but there are a few points here that I'd like to unpack. Contrary to Cialist, Jimbly surprisingly hasn't generated much buzz online. This bizarre, cult-like network that he seems to have created
How is it cult-like though?
effectively cements him as somewhat of a wild card in my theorization. What this guy is doing is weird. From the mugshots to the vast database of supposed network members to his secret repository of graphic imagery, it seems like he is the one actually running the rumored cult. While it doesn't deal with Satanism and death like the urban legends claimed, this guy is, whether he knows it or not, effectively catalyzing a situation in which people run the risk of being doxxed. It took George not even one full day to piece together the real identity of the wife and man behind the McGalick mugshots, and it's unclear how many other selfies that he has stashed away in the world that he's, according to the blog, been building since 2005. To be frank, aside from the lack of a response, I wasn't able to find much else surrounding this guy, and it's safe to assume that there are others like him. A game
I'm not
that's
sure,
totally
Rotok.
abandoned, aside from a few key players, is surely something that would catch the eye of somebody trying to run some sort of network under the radar. With that being said, I encourage you to make your own conclusions about him. With the
Wait, is that
evidence
it?
at hand, it does appear that at one point in time, there was something going on behind the scenes. Whether or not it still is, or if the mysterious Jimbly is still active, remains to be seen. While I haven't been able to track him down, maybe you can, but keep in mind that if you're so curious as to venture in on your own, your potential discoveries may be nefarious. But remember, we're talking about Jimbly's custom worlds.
Thanks to Tier 1
Stay in the
Ludoplex.
official game,
The
and
gift
it's
sub
safe
Purple
to
Elite.
assume that you'll be alright. But that brings us to another point of discussion. Deadliest. You might recall that I mentioned the fact that users are able to create their own worlds. This was actually a pivotal mechanic in the game and gave players an extra layer of interactivity. In a sense, I could see the developers feeling as if they're future-proofing their
Did
game
not do Vid
as it allows
Chronicles.
creative freedom that was unheard of before the point of its release. With this in mind, we have to remember that most of his so-called cult activity was happening in these aforementioned user worlds. Regardless of his eerie demeanor, Deadliest was eager to
Thanks,
give
Resub
newcomers
Ernie.
a tour of many of these. As it turns out though, he's apparently come off as quite ordinary to many players. In one post on Reddit by a user named Goomilord, they claim that they even encountered Nex and that he's merely a normal guy. Apparently, he switched his avatar to Sanic at one point and began spamming the words, "There is no cult on worlds.com" in the chat.
So he's just an
Fuck what
RPer.
you will.
Like, the guy just fucking RPs. Thanks to Resub Dick
So let's think about this logically.
and Ernie.
Worlds is, at its core, creepy in and of itself. The barren environments, combined with the uncanny primitive textures, naturally gives any unsuspecting players a sense of uneasiness, especially if you've caught wind of the various allegations surrounding Nex's mysterious character. To
That's
me,
pretty
I
cool.
believe that he's playing along, leading players to the belief that he's some sort of cult mastermind as a long-running joke. The worlds he frequents are creepy on purpose, and, in my opinion, he was capitalizing on it for a bit of fun.
Yeah,
His avatar
obviously,
is
for sure.
unhinged. He comes off strangely when he wants to, and he executes this with a group of willing friends. The same friends that we see in the so-called cult screenshots that were captured in-game. A weird hobby, but to each their own. I'm not judging.
So there was nothing.
Now, with all of that out of the way, there's still one glaring question that remains. Why does World still exist?
That's the only really weird thing about it. Like, there's no point to keep it running. That's like the only odd thing. Like, Jimbly asking for pictures of people is the sign of a lonely person wanting to make sure, like, you know, this is a person, and I'm talking to a person. That's what it strikes me as. And the porn stuff is him taking fucking Google
Allow me to
images.
redirect your attention to the game's owner. Tom Kidron, in his many years as the world's owner, has become somewhat known
Thanks to
as
5
something
goose subs,
called a
Lotoplex. Thank you, man.
patent troll. Patent trolls
Appreciate it,
essentially
man.
purchase many different elements and ideas of a particular product and squat on them for years, filing lawsuits against anyone that violates them. The reason that these people are called patent trolls mainly rests on the fact that the ones they purchase are typically what they perceive to be a sought-after and core element of a particular product. In this case, Kidron's been squatting on patent number 7,181,690,
Classic
which is
patent.
titled System and Method for Enabling Users to Interact in a Virtual Space. This was filed on August 3rd, 2000, with further detail in the following. The invention provides a highly scalable architecture for a three-dimensional graphical multi-user interactive virtual world system. In a preferred embodiment, a plurality of users interact in a three-dimensional, computer-generated graphical space where each user executes a...
Yeah, he probably sues everyone that makes one of these kind of games.
From the perspective of that user. Sounds broad, doesn't it? That was on purpose. Andy's used it. Even as of this year, there are articles all over Google explaining legal cases that Worlds Inc. has filed
Worlds
against
vs. Bungie?
IPs such as Second Life, Blizzard, Bungie, and more. And according to a Vice article from 2015,
they ever won?
Kidron rakes in a whopping $200,000 a year from his court proceedings. This effectively explains away the server cost. When not many, if any players play your game at all, the result of this is cheap upkeep, low bandwidth, low server costs. Ergo, he's raking in cash with a positive net income. In the US, the typical patent lifespan is 20 years, so at the time of writing this, we have just short of 9 months before Kidron would either have to renew or simply let it expire. As a result of
I'm
this,
sure he renewed.
if he so chooses, he could let it run its course and retire from his relentless court proceedings. If he does, I wouldn't be surprised if the Worlds game goes down with it, effectively and permanently leaving this artifact of a game to die.
Someone do it for me. Did he renew it or did... Well, I already know he fucking renewed it.
So, all in all, as it turns out, Jimbly is the real enigma here. The custom worlds that he, and potentially others, have created are an indisputable testament to the underbelly of this archaic MMO. Today, it's unclear whether he's still active in the game or not.
Oh,
Even so,
it's a huge
the
tier
inner mechanisms
3.
of this fabled network are something
Rates
that perplexes
2?
me, as I see no end goal
Thank you.
other than to hoard a repository of
Appreciate
images
the huge
for
tier
his own
3.
enjoyment. Why he chose Worlds.com to do it is and will forever remain beyond me. Regardless, Worlds, whether still online by nefarious reasons or not, stands as somewhat of a time capsule to the primitive era of social gaming. Today, with the official non-custom Worlds, it stands as a corpse of the past, a window into what once was, and a sliver of mystical nostalgia, sending us back into a time when we all first discovered the world of the internet.
Very cute.
As far as we know, servers are, to this day, willingly being kept alive. Alongside this, the inevitable date that the game permanently goes offline is unclear, so if you're eager to experience this curiosity of old, then you better get on it soon. Stay in the official servers, and you'll be fine.
Also, this is not the game Vinny played. I looked when I was shitting. He played Active Worlds.
Otherwise, you'll run the risk of missing the nostalgic boat, leaving it to sail away, and for us to watch it go.
Yeah, so I feel like that was a bit off. Literally nothing cultish about that. You have a guy who's RPing, and you even mentioned that it's literally RPing, not really cultish. Jimbly, I think, is easily explained because it's clearly a lonely guy, and he asks for the pictures of anyone that plays and wants to be his friend. Not the most uncommon thing in the world. And the porn shit was just stock images, right? So it's not like I don't know where the cult was. It's a new Nexpo bid. I do like the channel.
Wayne Kernigan was stuck at home during an excruciatingly long winter. He was what his parents believed to
Was
be
his name
a problem
Ween?
child, experiencing nightmares, arguing with his 7 siblings, and getting in trouble at school. Having gone on record to state that his father beats him with hockey sticks, it was undeniable that their humble abode in suburban Connecticut was less of a place of refuge for him. The man on the phone says that Wayne should come right away, and that they'll have a private jet waiting for him at Danbury Airport.
What a good deal.
His mom tells him not to worry,
Wow.
and that it's more of an outdoor camp type thing that'll make him better. So Wayne packed up his stuff that night. Eager? Sure. Nervous? Yes. But absolutely awaiting the things to come. Inquire on why he was sent there.
Who made this vid? It's Nexpo.
Drugs.
I keep seeing this one's fucked up.
When Wayne began to question whether he
Why?
was going to the place he thought he was.
Cults are known to be pretty
Something
cool.
didn't seem right. Looks like a camp, he thinks. However, when he exits the vehicle, he isn't greeted with the silent serenity of nature, but instead, the screaming.
Yeah, but that could mean anything. I scream when I'm having a lot of fun. Like, yeehaw, we're having fun. Yeah, I saw the American Horror Story cult season. American Horror Story is the best shitty show.
Across the United States, a rise in for-profit behavior modification facilities were in action. Now called the troubled teen or tough love industry, it seemed to be a money machine aimed at altering and stifling troublesome behavior in adolescents.
Well,
The
someone's
exact
got
date is
to.
hard to gauge, given that this was the decade following the rise of the hippie subculture. Authority was and had been challenged for years.
Whoa! That facial hair is kinda nutty. That looks cool. It's like Wolverine, but not cool like Wolverine's. It's like a little cushion. That's nice. That's like an OG neckbeard.
In early 1970, a psychiatrist
Thanks to
named
resub
Gerald Davidson,
Finca.
alongside investor David Goldberg and a man named Joseph Ritchie, would band together to create a school named Elan, a private co-ed behavior modification program geared from grade 8 to beyond high school. Ritchie billed the facility as one that would correct bad behavior by teens without punishment, while painting himself as a genuine mentor that could help make that happen.
They had a
City
website?
133 have gone on record to state that their initial, outside impression of the school was that it was like a summer camp in the Maine woods. However,
Looks like a
upon
summer
arrival-
camp.
Furthermore, some have stated
It does
that
look like
once they
Crystal
exit
Lake.
the vehicle expecting a lively campground, they're instead faced with a sight much stranger. Some students were spotted wearing degrading signs, some shackled in handcuffs,
What?
some being yelled at. Point.
They
It's been
take
noted
discipline
that
very
some students
seriously.
attempt to flee. School was marketed, touting itself as an altruistic institution genuinely concerned with helping troubled teenagers get better. It was clear from the outside that those claims were a reach.
Is that Charles Manson teaching the class?
But
Man, they got
just how
celebrity
far would they take
teachers.
that?
Good for them.
Observe the
So
vernacular
this is pretty
used to appeal
recent.
to each parent. Dear parents, we're very aware of how lonely and confused you must feel as you sit down to read this. If you're like the parents of most of our students, you're faced with an adolescent whose behavior is out of control and you don't know why. A youngster who's been given everything and is throwing it all away is difficult to understand, but you can see that this process is progressive. The most saddening part is knowing that your offspring is ruining his or her future. Your own pain is difficult, but your pain for your child is unbearable.
Yeah, they're not reaching their
By
full
coming to
potential.
Elan, it's been noted that Joseph Ritchie was somewhat of a salesman. He was charismatic and excelled at convincing parents of all the good that Elan could do for their kids. The good that, as we'll soon find, was all a lie. Reportedly, once your parents agreed to send you off to Elan and pay the $50,000 tuition fee, they designated time and date with Elan's so-called teen escort service. They
Wow.
wouldn't pick you up during the day, though. Instead, in the middle of the night when you're
Why,
fast
though?
asleep, they would bust through your door and kidnap you.
Why?
In years past, Elan's staff have stated that since the child has no say in attending, their capture hinges on the element of surprise.
Okay.
According to a blog, two
So are
men
these
breaking
just
into the teen's
stories
bedroom,
what?
physically subduing them.
Are these just stories this guy makes up? What? No, what? Is all you read creepypastas? Why would he make up a 52-minute story and make websites to corroborate it and evidence and stuff? It's just like a history lesson that's well presented.
Tying them up with plastic handcuffs, throwing them into a van, and then driving them to Poland, Maine, where they'd be handed over to the Elan school. Such experiences often traumatized the teens who were abducted. For all they knew at first, they were being taken by criminals to be held ransom, tortured, or worse, killed. This practice became notorious around the United States, eventually earning its nickname, the Elan Snatch. If
So this
were
was
any
so
indication,
well known that it had
was
its
clear
own
that
name?
Morality wasn't the school's strong suit.
The 70s, man? What are you talking about? This was in 2000. They have a fucking website. Had a website.
Day 1. Students would typically arrive to Elan during the early morning hours of the day.
Oh,
Due
it
to the
started
nature
in
of
the
transport
70s.
to
Oh,
campus,
gotcha.
they were
I see what
often
you're
known
saying.
to resist their escorts.
I see what you're saying,
It's been
sorry.
noted that their capture was designed this way, utilizing their escape attempt against them as a tool to convey that no matter what, they're not getting out of there. Often, the first stop would be the dormitory showers, which served as a tool in robbing each student of their sense of individuality. Reportedly, students are thrown into them with absolutely no privacy and are demanded to remove all of their clothing and valuable items. After complying, they're given what Elan calls no-image clothing, which, as the name implies, simply includes a bland, colorless shirt and pants, effectively forcing them into a state of conformity.
Well, let's not get carried away. A white t-shirt's pretty
Each new
cool.
student would be taken into a common area where they are
I
assigned what
wouldn't
Elan
necessarily
calls
look
a
too
big
deep
brother.
into that.
This, in essence, was a tenured student designated to be a guide. On paper, they were told to help their students adjust to their new life on campus, somewhat like a peer, while educating them on how great and effective the program is. As we've seen in studies like the Stanford Prison Experiment, I'm sure you can see why this wouldn't be a bad idea.
I don't know that experiment.
Oftentimes, Big Brother figures, much like staff, would take great pleasure in exerting their superiority over the newer students.
Looks like the house from Promised Neverland.
If you want to act like a baby, you get screamed at. If you want to act as more like a mature adolescent, you get talked to.
Oh, so I was like, wait, what?
Speaking of cults,
Was that footage from Elon University? Is it Elon or Elan? I don't know how to say it. Either way. But didn't he just say that they were forced to wear, like, the colorless shirts? Because that guy, like, that second guy, he's kind of dripped out. He's got a chain on. He's got a red button up. Oh, that was staff. Gotcha.
the social hierarchy at Elan is structured in a way that heavily resembles one. At the school,
like
students are
Professor
immediately
Snape.
placed into two categories. Strengths, which were tenured, obedient students that were a few steps up the totem pole, and non-strengths, the newer ones who typically resisted treatment. Strengths were allowed to talk to fellow strengths and non-strengths. Non-strengths, on the other hand, were only permitted to communicate with strengths. If a non-strength were caught communicating with a non-strength, harsh punishment would soon greet them. They were quickly disconnected, reprimanded, and robbed of any future potential.
So if this is
to use
supposed
the
to be a
phone lines ever
scam,
again.
I feel like this is a lot more effort than just
On top
not
of the phone manipulation,
doing this.
every Elan resident was
It
required
seems like
to
so
write
much
what
more
the school
work to
calls
abuse the
a guilt
kids.
letter, which, as you might expect, is an explanation of how great the Elan school is for them, all the great activities they do there, and how well they're progressing through the program. These letters would be heavily scrutinized before being mailed out to their parents. In most
Yeah, I get that it's a
cases,
cult,
verbally
but usually
tortured
cults have a
with the pleasure
purpose.
of the Elan school staff. It was clear to students that they weren't getting away from this anytime soon. And after realizing this, their minds would often pivot away from rebellion and towards compliance in hopes of power.
Yeah,
through the
money.
program.
That's why I would think
This
they'd want to
still
run a
forced them to
scam as
become
opposed to a
somewhat
cult. And it'd be so much
brainwashed,
easier to
ultimately stuck
not
in a
abuse the
system that will
kids.
do
Takes a lot
everything
more
it
work to do that, I
possibly can
imagine.
to make their escape.
So I'm assuming there is a point to the cult, like they want to turn these kids into like super soldiers or something, I don't really know. But if it was just a scam, they're putting a lot of work into it. Whereas they could just take the kids here for $50K a year and
As
just
you
let
might
them play
expect,
basketball
the
and
rules
sleep.
at the Elan school were immense. Exerting nearly totalitarian control over everything that happens, Joe Ritchie's set of rules, which he called guilt, was gargantuan and needlessly meticulous.
Maybe tier 1 Wheeloo.
As a student at Elan, you would be expected to refrain from doing the following: having any image, reading as a non-strength, not completing learning experiences, writing without permission, being sideways,
Oh,
looking
that
at
means-
security zones, non-strength interacting, talking too loudly, talking too softly, looking at the opposite gender,
Whoa.
being attracted to someone,
Whoa.
any physical contact, looking out windows,
What?
unauthorized drawing, not listening to higher
Holy
ranks,
shit.
pretending to sleep at night, thinking of running away, being in the bathroom for too long, wearing dark clothing, being manipulative, being lazy while working, listening to music, talking too much, showering for
All
more
in
than
all, they're
10
pretty
minutes,
lenient.
not talking enough, making facial reactions to orders, negative body language, pretending not to have guilt, oversleeping, undersleeping, smiling, And the list goes on and on.
That's not bad.
Clearly, these rules were not designed to be followed.
Basically a lawless
causing
place
harsh
over there.
penalizations to become commonplace. To help enforce these,
Thanks to Resub
individuals
Integra
known
and
as
Razzle Dazzle.
expediters were designated by the school to stand on watch with clipboards. Primarily, they were known to catch those that broke 3 rules: being attracted to members
Thanks
of
to
the
Gift Sub
opposite gender,
Uzi.
looking at the opposite gender, and making prolonged eye contact with anyone else. Since expediters too were required to fill their clipboards with names and infractions at the risk of their own punishment, they frequently and unapologetically made assumptions and accusations that were a lie. Laces and the requirement to wear a bright yellow t-shirt and short pink shorts. The school figured that without laces, their shoes were effectively useless,
What?
in turn preventing any ability to move any faster than a walk.
What is it,
A
like
more
barbed
extreme
wire on the
example
ground
of
or
a split
something?
risk punishment
Just go
is
barefoot.
shown with this student. Instead of a t-shirt and shorts though, he was forced to wear a bright pink rabbit suit with cuffs around his legs. It's unclear if this is a repeat offender, but it raises the question as to how far Alon would actually go with this tactic.
Thanks to Resub Hunter.
Students that smiled at a place were punished by wearing dunce caps and reduced to work that the school calls shot down. These involved repetitious, dull tasks like mopping floors, scrubbing the insides of trash cans, and even cleaning toilets with just a single toothbrush. For
Man, if I
hours and
went to one of
hours
these
on end.
fucking schools, if my parents
If
sent
you
me
haven't
here,
used the
I would never
bathroom during
forgive them.
shutdown, it's been noted that approval by sometimes 6 or more superiors was required before you were able. And even then, an escort had to watch you while you were in there. This, on top of a myriad of other degrading punishments,
Thanks to Resub
like
Retribution.
humiliating sign and diaper wearing, it's clear that Alon kept an iron grip on their daily operations. Their daily operations that took up most of the daily schedule, and those that were deceptively named by the Alon school themselves as their treatment.
Thanks to Bit Savage. And Give Sub Ethan.
But I will say, all of these punishments are relatively tame compared to what we're about to talk about. Let's just say, if you pissed off a staff member, they could start something called a general meeting on you. And trust me, you wouldn't want one.
That doesn't sound so intense. Well, we're just gonna debate, huh?
There seemed to be no standard for them. Get your feelings off, the administrator screams. And following this, each student in the room would begin screaming at and berating the student, firing off slurs and obscenities. For
Oh, so it's like Twitter.
no matter how much
Pretty
the student
innovative.
pled for everyone to stop, no matter how much they broke down, no matter how much they cried, general meetings would not end until the admin said so. And when it finally did, the victim would lie there, often crying and exhausted at the relentless abuse that they'd just endured. It's clear that general meetings aren't designed to reprimand. They're designed to completely break each and every student that's the subject of one. And with this, we can effectively put the points together that Alon was doing nothing more than running an operation that commanded total compliance. Any
Thanks to Bits
self-thought
Ramon and
or
Teddy.
sliver of independence that students thought they had
True,
was
Teddy.
gone. They were merely reduced to weapons. Weapons that, at a moment's notice, could just as easily be used against them. "7 p.m.
Are they also haunted by vampires or something too? Like, how much worse can it get? Fucking
Contrary
werewolves
to
or
its focus
something?
on academia and outside marketing, school time within Alon was secondhand to the students' treatment. Typically, the time frame for learning was 7 to 11 p.m., but sometimes could run longer. As you might expect, there were no extracurriculars, no physical
Thanks to Tier
education,
1 Squish
no
and the resub
projects,
Kuckaroo,
no
Zero,
legitimate
and Gengar.
exams, nothing. Instead, students were required to grade themselves
And
on
Prime
work that
Craig.
they were self-assigned with absolutely no direction. Allegedly, he believed students were easier to control while sleep-deprived and utilized even this as a medium to work against them. By 11 p.m., if a student makes it through a night of work without issue, school hours then draw to a close.
Not
They're
bad.
quickly released from class and escorted to their dorms, which were often in the form of uncomfortable impersonal, military-style bunk beds.
That's military style, a piece of wood?
Sleep was known to be difficult, as designated students named night owls were assigned to stand guard with flashlights. In regular intervals, they'd shine them on the sleeping students to both ensure that they hadn't escaped and to secure the fact that they're actually asleep.
What?
A requirement that, as we can recall, was also in the list of Elan's rules. And if one actually manages to calm their nerves, dozing off into their only time of tranquility, that would allow them to effectively place the cap on a day in the nightmare.
I just want to see if like the main guy behind it's still alive, but I don't want it to be a spoiler either. His name was like Joe something and I forgot, so I'm trying to find it. It says, I don't think it's Joe Rogan, but it keeps wanting me to type in Joe Rogan. It was like Joe something. Richie, that's what it was. He's dead. Damn.
A notorious aspect of Elan, among everything else that happened there, was something called the Ring. Considered the highest level of punishment, Elan staff could make the call to start the Ring at any time. Enough for a specific student.
Oh, I gave them safety equipment.
In the Ring, a student's designated as a bully and is outfitted with a face guard and gloves. No one was safe from the Ring either. Some bore pre-existing injuries, some were much smaller than their opponent, and some were even pregnant.
Wait, what?
Even worse, things seemed to be treated like a game, with superiors commentating.
This is only up to
like
high school.
TV. In reality,
how are the...
This was the furthest...
Wait, I'm super curious then. So how were some of them pregnant? Because you're not even allowed to look at the opposite gender, and assuming that you lived here for a year, how would you get pregnant? That makes no sense to me. I guess if they could have arrived pregnant, which would check out. Staff? Oh, I see what you're saying, by the staff. Right. Thanks to the prime material. I keep forgetting that there's actual adults behind this, because it looks like, it sounds like they literally only appoint the students to do everything here. It's like Lord of the Flies.
This thing from TV.
It costs $17,400 to send the average youngster to Elan for 1 year. Even at that price, there are judges, social workers, and parents who consider it a bargain. Elan's defenders claim it has the most consistently effective program for salvaging young people who are too difficult for other facilities to handle.
It's administered by the kids, first of all. Corporal, it's a harsh term, okay? What it is we have the Ring, okay, which...
Well, he's super open about it.
Misinterprets. It's not a boxing ring, it's a ring of human people. The bully is introduced as what he is. In this corner is the bully who's trying to turn this facility into a detention center, okay? And in this corner is the house champion who's going to show him why it can't be done. And that's exactly how it does. And we never allow the bully to win.
But girls get put in the ring, too.
Well, girls bully as well as boys do. I mean, you know, it doesn't, it's, you know, we're a equal rights facility.
Oh, that's progressive, okay.
Spanking, which is symbolic. Again, it's a last resort, okay?
Wow.
And it's one resident spanking another resident, and it's done with a ping pong paddle, okay? And usually a person won't get spanked more than once or twice, but it's a symbolic thing, which is if you're going to act like a baby, you should be treated like a baby.
On December
so he is just super open about it.
A 15-year-old Elan student named Philip Williams was placed into the ring. And so, that evening, a ring session commenced with Phil as the bully. There was fight after fight after fight. In the end, it's been reported that he was beaten up so badly that he fell flat on the floor, and it took an entire 20 minutes before an ambulance was called to help him. 20 minutes or so they called the ambulance. They took Phil and they never saw him again. His sister claims, "I thought it was a wonderful place. I thought they were helping my brother. I thought he was coming home."
Like, how can you think that when they actually kidnapped him?
In a box.
Like, I don't get that delusion.
Elan's
Their technique was to
response
kidnap
was
them.
that he had regularly faked headaches. The cause of death? A brain aneurysm. And no charges were ever filed against them.
Yeah.
That cult is one by the name of Synanon.
Never heard of it, and I know a lot of cults.
County with a warrant to investigate reports of child abuse.
In recent years, Synanon began calling itself a religion.
He's 52 years old. He's deaf in one ear. He's an egomaniac. But one of the wisest persons that I've ever met in my life.
He knows how to get people moving. He creates turbulence.
Gentlemen,
He's the prime bone scope.
No member of the California Department of Corrections is permitted on Synanon property unless he has the express permission of Charles D.
Very cool spectacles. What is he, a fighter pilot?
In early 1958, a man by the name of Charles Dedrick Sr. would found the group in Santa Monica, California. It was intended to be a drug rehabilitation program aimed at delinquents. However, in the years that followed, it appeared to stray from that mission entirely. The distinguishing form of therapy employed by Synanon was something called the game, which, in today's terms, is more commonly known as attack therapy. The focus of the game was to break down the social construct of an individual's mind by first allowing them to open up about themselves before commencing an aggressive beratement session, much like we discussed earlier with general meetings. The primary goal was to recreate someone's personality and sense of self by completely demolishing everything they know about themselves before rebuilding them as a newer, subjectively better person. It hinged on the brink of legality while being entirely immoral. And, unsurprisingly, by 1991, the cult would disband due to criminal convictions that caught up to many of their members. The founder also died just 6 years later, leaving behind a dark legacy that, to this day, is known as one of the most dangerous and violent cults that America has ever seen.
That's weird. I've never heard of them.
This is, of course, the abridged history. To be honest with you, I could make an entire hour-long video on the operations and practices of Synanon.
Oh, they look like they're having fun.
For another day. If there's one takeaway tonight, though, it's that it unknowingly serves as an inspiration and blueprint for other institutions to follow. One of those being Elan, and by utilizing similar practices, they appeared to carry the torch that Synanon was forced to abandon. They knew they had to keep up appearances too, thriving off an immaculate public image spearheaded by the charisma of Joe Ritchie. Before the age of the internet, admittedly this was
built with prime pink. Why didn't they fight back? Brother kids. What do you mean?
Through the late 70s and into the early 80s, reports of the true nature of Elan began to spread by word of mouth from former students. Authorities in Maine reportedly visited the school upwards of 12 times to investigate, however returned with absolutely nothing to show for it. Frustratingly, the operation that Joe Ritchie was running was completely and entirely legal. There were no laws in place for facilities like this, so it was allowed to remain in operation without issue. As we touched on, the media was the primary in for outsiders at Elan. However, even they failed to communicate the extent of their operations. While they showed select parts of it, unfortunately Joe Ritchie was given enough airtime to convince the public and the news crew that it was nothing more than their treatment taking place. By dehumanizing the students, emphasizing their delinquencies on national television, he was able to use this notoriety to his advantage, ultimately swaying the public opinion into believing that what he was doing was entirely good. On top of the growing number of alumni, though, came an increase in escapees, which only furthered Elan's unwanted infamy. Over the years, 3 students, a 16-year-old unidentified individual, a 15-year-old Brad Glickman,
good work,
and a 17-year-old Don Birnbaum would all escape successfully, however would meet wildly differing fates. For the 16-year-old, it's been reported that he ran over 15 miles through the wilderness in the middle of the night. He was eventually caught by an officer, Max Ashburn, and after hearing the boy's story and observing his physical condition, he helped him return home.
What a good guy!
For Brad Glickman, he was shot. In 1990, after escaping Elan's search parties, he made his way to a house in a small town. Authorities believed that he had a connection to the girl that lived there. However, the homeowner opened fire, ultimately killing him.
What? What? That's like the most American shit I've ever heard in my life. This guy must know my daughter. Like, what? Jesus Christ. Actually, 2 gift subs Kill Command and the resub Terra in Tier 1 Summer.
And for Dawn Birnbaum,
how unlucky,
too had escaped the clutches of Alon, eventually finding a trucker named James Cruz who was willing to take her home. A few hours down the road, though, Birnbaum would find that Cruz's true intentions weren't quite so virtuous.
Oh, Jesus.
As it turned out, he sexually assaulted her on the side of the highway before strangling and abandoning her body between routes 26 and 550 in Pennsylvania. She was discovered by another motorist with a yellow rope tied around her neck and without clothes from the waist down. And from her corpse were tire tracks resembling that of a semi-trailer. Since Birnbaum had crossed state lines, an FBI investigation was commenced for her, and after cross-checking with numerous similar cases that have happened in the area, the truck belonging to James Cruz was deemed as the culprit. Upon catching up to him and searching his vehicle, authorities were able to find but a single blonde hair that belonged to Birnbaum, effectively leading to his arrest.
That's incredible detective work. Like, just think about that for a second. This is in the middle of fucking nowhere. Random trucker picks up a random student, well, student's the wrong word, random person from a cult, and they somehow tracked it down to the right guy who did it. That is incredible.
What's incredible?
Just the detective work here. There's a Tier 1 pack. And the resub Juke and the Prime Scary Man, and the resub Genius and Virgin Shadow. What?
A cult in a boarding school?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it is pretty wild. What are you doing?
What do you think I'm doing? Just watching One Piece.
Okay, well, have fun.
I'm not even playing any games right now.
Well, that's fine. Yeah, you're in a good arc. You're having fun.
It's a really good arc. It really is.
Thanks to resub Side Jellyfish.
Hi, chat. I'm seeing all the hellos, but I can't read too much past that because my glasses are not on. Anyways, I'm gonna go back to that.
Okay, well, have fun.
Much to the school's displeasure, these cases successfully gained ample attention. Joe Ritchie resultingly paid off numerous judges and journalists in hopes of drowning out the negative press.
Thanks to Prime Proximity.
However, outsiders were beginning to catch on that these students were running for a reason.
Quick text message.
But why?
There we go. Okay. All good. Thanks to the resub Adventure Creature Mumbling Plot in the Prime
30th, 1975. A 15-year-old girl named Martha Moxley was out with her friends participating in what they call Mischief Night. This typically involved TPing houses, ding-dong ditching, typical teenager antics. Later that night, Moxley found a liking to a Thomas Skakel, eventually kissing him before the pair decided to venture off. To the other friends in their group, seeing Moxley fall over the Skakel's backyard fence with Thomas was the very last time that they would ever see her alive. The next morning, the Moxley family awakens as usual. They go about their morning routine, however notice that Martha is missing. Upon searching the house for her, they notice a body lying by the tree out in the backyard.
And don't really have one stoner boner.
And discover a grim scene. Martha is lying, lifeless with her pants down. Her body appears to have been visibly beaten, and a few feet away from the body, broken remnants of a 6-iron golf club.
Holy shit.
This club was eventually traced back to the Skakel family. Autopsy reports claimed that she was bludgeoned and stabbed to death, all by that 6-iron. And since Thomas Skakel was the last person she was spotted with that night, he was the prime suspect in her murder. Due to a lack of sufficient evidence, however, he, among the other suspects, were eventually absolved.
What?
And as a result, the Moxley case, frustratingly, went cold. 3 years later. Thomas's 18-year-old brother named Michael Skakel is arrested for drunk driving.
What a great family, all around.
Admission to Elan. While there, Skakel was known to be problematic and outspoken. According to Elan students at the time, he would regularly boast about a girl named Martha and how he sexually assaulted and killed her. One student named Gregory Coleman,
what a weird thing to brag about,
recounting how Michael had gone on record to state that, "I'm going to get away with murder. I'm a Kennedy." The Kennedy reference was alluding to his relation to Robert F. Kennedy, something that would prove pivotal in launching his eventual trial to the national spotlight. At the time of his confession, though, nobody could do anything about it. Given the overbearing nature of the rules set at school, any student that tried to tell someone about this was quickly reprimanded. It would take an entire 22 years before Skakel's actions would reach the public eye. In January of 2000, he was arrested and charged with the murder of Martha Moxley, and due to his relation to the Kennedys, it was a case that commanded the airwaves. Since Skakel's primary vehicle of bragging about his crimes was Elan, this, by proxy, had also thrust the school into the national spotlight. Dozens of students took the stand, exposing the callousness that occurred there. The humiliation, the general meetings, the beatings, the ring, the deaths, all of it was brought into the public eye. Realizing this, Joe Ritchie did everything he possibly could to keep discussion about his operation to a minimum.
He looks like Neil Breen.
He eventually took the stand, downplaying any mention of Elan, touting its high success rate, and doing everything he possibly could to divert the attention back to Skakel
and hope you like God Slap
Skakel
Creamy
only. But this was only marginally effective, as this was in the 2000s. An interconnected era of information catalyzed by a little something called the internet.
That piece of shit, huh?
Michael Skakel was eventually found guilty of the murder and was sentenced to 20 years to life in prison. After serving just 11 years behind bars, he was granted a new trial in 2013, in which he was let go after posting a $1.2 million bond.
Oh, Jesus.
Today, he walks a free man. But
I do tier 1 sarcastic, and the recent Phil Swift and
the
Stick.
inhumanities committed at the Elan School were documented in one of the most high-profile cases in decades. And because of this, people began talking, theorizing, and investigating, effectively marking the beginning of the end of Joe Ritchie's iron grip on the hundreds of students that were helpless beneath him.
Thanks to the resub Nathan and the Prime Green Gorilla and Tuga sub Sarcastic.
But with his weakening grasp on the media surrounding his operation came a different hurdle that Joe Ritchie would soon have to overcome. In June of 2000, he was diagnosed with lung cancer caused by his well-known addiction to cigarettes. And just 6 months later, on the 29th of January 2001, Joe Ritchie would pass away in Portland, Maine at 54 years old. As a result, his second wife, Sharon Terry, would take over operations at Elan. It was clear, though, that due to the increased publicity among the rising alumni testimonies, the idea of Terry having a lot of PR work on her plate was putting it lightly. Throughout the years, numerous changes would be put in place in response to
Hold on, someone just said something. Skakel is in jail, by the way. His conviction got reinstated in 2016. Thanks to some Monty Geo expert in chasing bubbles. Well, this video is brand new, and he said that he's a free man. Let me see. Let's take a peek. I don't see anything about him going back to jail. Yeah, there's nothing about him going back to jail. Literally nothing. It got reinstated, just exonerated in 2020.
For instance, the ring was eventually forbidden from being used as punishment. And while this was substantially a good thing, the other cruelties would remain. What Sharon Terry was unaware of, though, was that due to the rapid rise in technology, namely the internet, even her reign over Elan would soon meet its demise. When the water settled following the Skakel case, mentions of Elan were made on various forums throughout the next few years. They would get people talking, however it wasn't quite enough for definite action. By 2010 though, something would change. A website that we all know very well would help spearhead one of the most effective exposed stories in the history of the internet.
I want to take a guess. I don't know the story, but I want to guess. Is it Something Awful? Something Awful used to be pretty powerful. No way, is it Reddit? God damn it.
That website was Reddit.
Son of a bitch!
On November 26, 2010, a man named Jeff W., who went by Gazaz My Hero, would make a post titled, "Even skimming this once will blow your mind. Most probably think it's made up, but you'd be dead wrong." Within it, he explains that he was an Elan student in 1998, before outlining, in detail, the reality of what took place there. They're mostly points that we've already covered and explored in great detail tonight. But back then, these claims were unbelievable. The school was very much still in operation, so some initially had a tough time wrapping their head around the fact that a place like this actually existed. But then came the comments, the other stories from other alumni with their own experiences. Gazaz My Hero's post carried weight. It was real, and these atrocities needed to be
Tier
known.
1 Dewey Nose and 2 gift sub Zugi.
Eventually, this thread would rack up over 2,000 likes and 1.4 thousand comments. While this may not have caused Elan's closure outright, it aggressively reopened old wounds. 2010 was not 2000. The internet user base was exponentially larger than it had been, and resultingly, the effectiveness of this newfound attention caused a massive amount of backlash that the Elan school had never before experienced.
Thanks, 3 sub chimeras.
4 months later. On the 23rd of March 2011, the Elan school announced that it would soon be shutting down. Sharon Terry blamed the call on what they deemed to be libelous remarks made about them online. The school has been the target of harsh and false attacks spread over the internet with the avowed purpose of forcing the school to close. The school, unfortunately, has been unable to survive the damage.
Shucks.
And on the 1st of April 2011, the Elan school would close its doors.
What a great date to close on fucking April
Officially,
Fool's Day.
They blamed it on declining student numbers in hopes of diverting the attention away from the actual cause. But on the outside, everyone knew the real reason. For students, this was unbelievably good news. However, the damage they endured was something that would remain
Thanks to Prime
everlasting.
Bands and Sutrus and the resub,
It's
Wilhelm,
been reported
Geegan,
that
and
numerous
Colt Dog.
suicides have occurred as a result of attendance at Elan. PTSD with alumni is rampant, and it's clear that the school had done nothing but damage people. A filmmaker and former student named Todd Nilsson, creator of a fantastic Elan documentary named The Last Stop, has gone on record to state that, as a student, he was helped by their unconventional tactics, but he knew the majority of others weren't quite so lucky. Today, hundreds of stories remain online about the cruelty committed at the Elan school, about the facade they upkept for 41 years. Reading through these are eye-opening, and you can find them on nearly every piece of media and documentation that exists about Elan online. To all of you that have shared your stories, that have opened up about the torment you went through, your voice is the reason that Elan ceases to exist today. This video would not exist without you, and I wish I could say that I feel your pain. But I don't.
What's Sharon Terry up to? Let me take a peek. Sharon Terry, what's going on? Wow, since 2011 she has vanished. Holy fuck. Her spirit was trapped in Elan, and when it closed down, she just ceased to exist. Holy fuck. Yeah, I cannot find anything of Sharon Terry after 2011. My god. Well, thanks to the resub. Physics. God damn, that was fucking intense. So I imagine over the course of 41 years, they must have had a lot of students graduate. And I'm really surprised that it took Reddit to be the one to finally shut that shit down from one post. The graduates were brainwashed. That's true. I guess it's hard to really understand that perspective, since I obviously wasn't there for the brainwashing. I'm gonna go fill up my water now. I'll be right back. I'm very curious about this. Recommended actually gave me something that sounded interesting.
Hello? This is Rhodey, aka War Machine. The former is played by actor and Academy Award nominee Terrence Howard. The latter is played by actor and Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle, the man. Also, Terrence Howard's the guy you might remember has been trying his best to convince the world that 1 times 1 equals 2. He tries to completely change math as we know it. That's how I know Terrence Howard.
The first Iron Man film, but you might not know why.
Didn't he want like a ton of money?
Within these big franchises that consistently gets torn down and torn apart by the media when you realize what's going on underneath. But having the title of Oscar winner on a resume means that they can also charge more for their performances. By the time Iron Man was rolling into production,
so it is a money thing. I'm pretty sure it was just money.
Around $3.5 to $4.5 million for that performance.
Not bad.
This made him one of the highest paid actors in the film.
Pretty solid.
And at that time, he's actually paid over 6 times more than Robert Downey Jr. He only made about $500,000.
Only is the wrong word for that number, I think.
Studio on-set money. When a project like Iron Man is successful enough to create a franchise, it's usually great for everyone involved. The directors and producers...
Except Terrence Howard.
Robert Downey Jr. was rumored to have made $10 million for the second film, a pay increase of about 2,000%.
Not bad.
He was able to, on the other hand, was actually offered a significant decrease in pay from what he was expecting to earn.
I'm jealous. Next time.
Marvel eventually offered only $1 million. It's rumored that Iron Man director Jon Favreau was ultimately unhappy with Terrence Howard's performance.
I do remember hearing that they did not like him. Like he was very rude.
But to make sure that Terrence Howard's future roles would be measured against a larger contract.
Yeah, so it really was a money thing and they just didn't like him in the movie.
Returns in the future on the next film or the
film.
It's
not super deep, it doesn't
After
seem.
the dust settled, publicly claimed that he was the one who recommended RDJ for the role of Iron Man, but that he ultimately was happy with the way things turned out.
Terrence Howard is a really weird guy, though. Like, aside from giving a bad performance and wanting more money, he's a very unlikable person to work with from everything I remember reading. Plus, he's the guy that keeps really trying to push that 1 times 1 equals 2. Billionaire wants to create futuristic city in Arizona desert.
And he wants the first phase to be built by 2030. Team 12's Michael Doudna has...
Sounds cool to me.
But is this utopia built in the desert even possible?
The
yes.
Technology to do what he...
Who is this, God? Oh my God. Holy Lord. Where is he?
He's the first person that tried to build utopia.
In fact,
wow.
Lord wouldn't even be the first.
Man's communicating from heaven. I wishing him the best. Good luck. I was just reading about the Jagex situation. They just shut down RuneLite HD, which has been in production for 2 years, where a guy named 117 put 2,000 hours of his life into it, and it was supposed to release, I think it was today, and Jagex today said, fuck you, and they shut it down. Even though they've known about its existence for the last 2 years, they waited until launch day to shut it down, just to fuck this guy in the ass as hard as they could. It was despicable. I was reading up on that. From what I understand, it wasn't the old school RuneScape team that did it. It was more of like the upper echelon of Jagex, but my god. That's some toxic shit. If they really didn't want that, they could have told him at the beginning. I watched the update on Yandere's simulator. No, let's check it out. Is Yandere dev still acting like a weirdo? Oh, it's done?
He's made a statement on the WordPress. He's made a statement on his Patreon. He's decided to let the people know who are financially supporting him what exactly is going on here.
All right, it's ready. Whoa, look at that. So after what, 9 years in development? It's finally ready? I mean, this is probably one of the most troubled developments of all time. Very public meltdowns, almost nothing going right, but we got there, baby. We fucking got there. It's not actually done. These posts make it sound like he thinks it's done. Oh, it's just a separate game mode that he finished? Jesus Christ. Oh. Oh my god. Alright, I see what's happened here. Jesus Christ. What's the point in never finishing the project? Is there any benefit to him? Yandere Simulator is it's old school. This shit was in development for so long. Most of the big YouTubers played it. PewDiePie, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, they've all played Yandere Sim. It was a massive, massive game when it was like first released as like a demo thing. And then I believe it was put up as a crowdfunding thing that has just never even been close to done. And the developer has very public meltdowns. He like purges his Discord and Hangouts once a week, or at least he used to. It's been a true, but... Oh, the channel is lush. Thanks to resub Ryochu.
Number 4. On March 29, 2018, a 30-year-old Polish man named Mateusz Kawacki was returning home to spend Easter with his family. Mateusz had been living and working in Hanover, Germany as a construction worker for about 5 years and lives with his father, who also works in Hanover. Mateusz is from a small village called Hutkau in southeastern Poland. He has a long-distance relationship with his Polish fiancée, who lives in a village called LEMMiNO Góra in northwestern Poland.
Nice.
She is pregnant with their first child and would soon give birth. It is believed that he was very happy and excited.
She gives birth to the Antichrist.
He planned a marriage proposal. As his fiancée is about to give birth, Mateusz sets out driving his 1998 BMW 525 from Hanover, Germany to LEMMiNO Góra, Poland, after work at around 11:30 p.m. He is due to arrive at around 8 to 9 a.m. the following morning. It's a 647-kilometer drive.
Put that in freedom units. How many miles?
Mateusz never makes it to LEMMiNO Góra. His father said he called Mateusz around 10:30 a.m. on the 29th of March. According to him, his son told him that there was terrible traffic on the way. Mateusz told his father that he waited a total of 2 hours in traffic jams due to accidents and that he was around Szczecin at that point. Szczecin is a city on the Polish-German border on the way to LEMMiNO Góra.
Maybe he's still in traffic.
14 kilometers to go from there. It is reported that the German-Polish border is checkpoint-free, although there are cameras that can apparently read license plates. Around that time, he wrote a text message to his fiancée that he would be with her in about 2 hours. But he never made it to his fiancée's, and this is, in fact, the last communication with Mateusz. Mateusz's fiancée becomes increasingly worried when he didn't answer her calls. She eventually called Mateusz's sister, who also lives in Hanover, at around 5 p.m. But no one can get through. His cell phone rings, but he doesn't pick up.
He joined a cult.
Later that evening, Mateusz's mother
the
goes
Road
to the
Warrior
police,
cult.
but the police discourage her from filing a report, as it's too early and Mateusz will likely turn up. Nevertheless, Mateusz's family reported him as missing in both Germany and Poland. Polish police allegedly handled the case alone, as the German police refused to investigate. The family then asked the Polish police to locate Mateusz's cell phone, which was apparently on for a couple of days after his disappearance. But the police are unable to do so, as Mateusz was using a German SIM card. German police, again, can't locate his cell phone either.
Oh, give me 1 second. Is that true, Jessica?
His cell phone.
The Walmart motherfucker Karen? Was that Del Taco? No, I'm not finding that. I already did Del Taco Karen. Nothing came up. Not with her, at least. Just this lady. Which is not her. The accuser of the brethren. God, yeah, she's a fucking icon.
as masseuse disappeared in
I
Poland.
want to see more of her.
Later, Polish police claimed that masseuse's cell phone never connected to a Polish network. It is unclear where masseuse received the call from his father. Frustrated with the police, masseuse's family began their own investigation and meticulously checked the entire route, going into side streets, checking with gas station attendants, asking for CCTV footage, going around markets and towns near the border with masseuse's picture. Unfortunately, no new clues appear for the next 6 months, and it seems that masseuse, along with his car, just disappeared into thin air.
Aliens then, huh?
The
Those
family
bastards.
even appeared in the media multiple times. They complained that the police are not doing enough.
Is that it, Tobias? This is the one that Jessica was mentioning?
Check.
Deranged. Oh my god. This is big. I don't think I've seen this. This is the accuser of the brethren. She has returned, kind of, a year ago. Alright, let's see what she does to these motherfuckers this time. Thank you, Cage.
I told you.
I want my fucking order.
Give her her order! And then, if you don't mind, let's do a sacrifice. What is happening? Thanks to resub Timbo. Oh! Jesus, Tim, thank you again, man. Thank you for the 25 gift subs. Holy shit. Tim, my god, thank you. Thanks for some Freezy. You've been so fucking generous. This one's not very good because she's not in the camera. I can't really hear her. Thank you again, BRD, for the 5 gift subs. Thank you, BRD. Is she wearing the same thing she wore in Walmart? Does she only have one set of clothes? She's like a cartoon character. Oh! Surprise! I did not expect that. It's like a magician. The dog looks so embarrassed. It doesn't even really look like a dog. It looks more like a house elf, like Dobby.
They called the police.
I wish the camera guy would get closer. Like, get involved here. I want to watch. Like, in front row.
It's okay.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. God damn it. Explode. Yes. The demon's coming out? I can't hear her. Get closer. Sit here.
Oh shit, bro.
It's getting better. Now let her say her piece loudly. How does this go on for 20 minutes? God damn it. There is so much potential. This one I've seen. This is a classic. This was the first encounter. Voice crack. First encounter.
Police officer.
Those are the first phase. The boss battle.
Give me your driver's license.
You pulled right out in front of me.
Yeah, and when someone pulls in front of you because there's an emergency, you slow your rear end down and you stop.
Okay, these
have
are
you
not
ever
cars.
had someone have an emergency?
These are not
and
cars.
pull in front of you?
These are not
Yeah.
cars. They don't stop on a dime.
God
It
damn
doesn't
it.
matter. You have to be far enough behind.
You know what? I'm going to tell you the whole
You should have picked up my trash, big boy.
I picked
Exit
up
tier
your
1
you
crack.
You want to go see
There's
what
some
you left?
Jimbo, cheese, and give
You were
some
supposed
Timbo.
to pick up everything.
Nope, 4 bags.
Yeah.
Is what your service
Oh,
is
you
for.
are in so much
And
deep
last
crap.
week I
Well, you
picked
wait
up
till
more
your
than
boss
this, too.
tells you what you
He's
got to
on
pick
his
up.
way here, too,
You
man.
think you get to decide what you pick up and what
No,
you don't?
it's what you ordered.
You little twerp.
It's what you ordered.
You little twerp. I know what I ordered.
Okay.
And you're going to pay.
Okay.
I wish there was another encounter, man. She's been at Walmart twice and then that one, but I don't think there's another one. The McDonald's one had so much potential if the guy just got closer. This one's the best.
My fucking personal space. You came over to me, motherfucker. I didn't come over to you. Fuck you. Ma'am. Shut the fuck up.
I wish she'd have her own, like, stream. Like an IRL stream. She sounds like Stone Cold Steve Austin. No, she sounds like Chris Farley. That's what I said the first time I heard her, and I still believe that. She literally sounds like Chris Farley doing Van Down by the River. Forever.
Life without fucking parole, and I'll be better off than any one of you motherfuckers.
Amen!
Fuck up.
I love her. And this is the one we just saw. Is there anything more from her? Like maybe a sighting during like coronavirus lockdown? Like I wholeheartedly believe she was out in public causing like a crazy nuisance with like the mask stuff. But I haven't seen any videos of her in like the last year. I just feel fucking like lost without it. Is this her? Again?
Let's get back to the real religion. Okay. Now I want to apologize
Oh my God.
in advance for all
Is this a bowling alley? Roller rink?
because when I start
Nice.
thinking about Satan, it's really the only language he speaks. He never speaks to you in real love. So it's like having a kid with his own free will.
Well, I didn't expect that. Yeah, it's DMCA, so I don't want to risk it. God damn it, she's not even having like a fucking meltdown. Fuck. I wish she'd start screaming at the kids instead of dancing. Life without parole. You'll never get past the 3rd grade without Jesus Christ in your motherfucking heart. Imagine this is her and she just changed that much in a year. She went from this all the way to the accuser of the brethren form as like a Frieza final evolution. Word. Well, this is just sad. That's not enjoyable like with the other girl. Finish the video. We've already seen them though. I've literally made like 2 videos on this lady. Like I have extensively watched her. I just have never seen the McDonald's one. This was not one of her more popular ones because, I mean, it was pretty poorly filmed. Finish the first video. The first video is over. Like the McDonald's one is over. He just put the other one in here as well, which was the first encounter where she does like the chicken dance. And then she rolls around. But I've already seen it. I even made something on the other tab. Oh. I actually forgot we were even watching something before that. Oh yeah, I totally fucking forgot about this.
And not taking Matsusa's disappearance seriously. On September 12th, Matsusa's mother was asked by one of their neighbors about their barn.
Thanks, the resub, Bebo.
The neighbor complained that the barn had been smelling for a while, and other neighbors were also starting to complain.
Oh no.
They believed it's probably a dead animal.
Thanks, the resub, Yeti.
Can't quite locate it.
And Biznu.
The neighbor eventually asked the mother if he could check below the barn's roof. Half of the
Let me give
barn
sub
was
Michigan.
walled off, creating a room and an attic on top of that room. She agreed, so he climbed up
Exit Tier 1
and
Zafran.
saw a pile of clothes. Upon closer inspection...
No, hold on. If they show a body, I obviously can't watch that. Let me check. Seems okay. I don't see anything. Should be alright.
Inspection, he found out it's actually a dead human body, a severed head and a torso. There were also 2 nooses hanging from the roof and a backpack on the floor.
Jesus Christ.
All the pieces of stuff seemed to be masseuse's, yet the body was too decomposed to be identified. It is unknown why masseuse ended up dead in this barn of his parents, which is located in southeast of Poland.
What the
When in March he was supposed to be visiting his pregnant fiancée in the northwest. It's a 635-kilometer trip between the two, basically from one side of the country to the other. The police then went to investigate and quickly established that the cause of death was suicide by hanging. They also hand over all of masseuse's belongings back to his family. 4 days after his body was found, masseuse's family discovered his shoe in the barn with his detached foot still inside. This points to the police not having done a very good job at
yeah, that doesn't
evidence,
sound like suicide
and also
at all.
why this matter didn't come up during the autopsy. The coroner would have asked and wondered why the foot is missing and where is it. Matseusa's sister accused the officers of negligence.
Thanks, resub, thick boy.
Apparently, they refused to search the actual barn thoroughly because it would take too much time to sift through the hay, which lay on the ground where Matseusa's body was found. Furthermore, some of Matseusa's teeth are knocked out and stuck to his clothes. While a head can get severed after a body is hung for some time on a noose, it is rather difficult for teeth to get knocked out post-mortem. There also seems to be bloody patches on his clothes, although these are difficult to tell the difference between, considering the clothes are dirty.
Are these the clothes?
Inside his backpack, there is a
I actually
Polish
couldn't
water
even tell.
bottle with cigarette butts inside and an orange juice box. Matseusa's family all claim that he never drank
Thanks,
orange
Tier 1
juice
Trillborn
because
and
he
the resub
disliked
potato.
it. It is reported that all of this potential evidence is
I don't know what's going to come out of that bag, but I'm just not going to risk it on Twitch.
not in Poland, not in Germany, not anywhere. The keys and vehicle registration were never found either, despite his wallet being in that backpack. Furthermore, his cell phone was among the things found, and there was one more call to his uncle on March the 30th. It is believed it was an accidental dial, as it only lasted for less than a second and never got through. His uncle never received the call. Also, the attic, where Matseusa's body apparently hung, is more or less in full view from the ground inside the barn. According to the family, they used the barn throughout the summer, so it's very unlikely they wouldn't have noticed a hanging body.
What?
Apparently, when the case got so famous, police started to conduct a more thorough investigation. German police obtained security camera footage and searched Matseusa's apartment in Hanover, where they secured his tablet. All of the evidence was then analyzed by police experts in Warsaw, the capital city of Poland. Based on all of the evidence they gathered, police were able to establish that Matseusa had lied to his family on the day of his disappearance. He was not in Szczecin when he'd called his family, and also wasn't driving at the time. He was still in Germany instead, according to receipts found in his belongings.
Thanks, the resub Michigan
He
fan.
actually took a train to the German border town of Frankfurt
What
and
the
Der Oder,
fuck?
and then mostly walked over a bridge to the Polish sound of Slavice, almost 24 hours after telling his family he was already in Szczecin, Poland. Police also discovered that he checked in at a hotel in Slavice with another person. The identity of this person is unknown. Matseusa then took a train to Warsaw the next day, and then took a bus to Zamość, which is the local big town close to his home village of Hutkow, around 21 kilometers. Apparently, he arrived in Zamość at around midnight, but it's still unknown when or how he got to Hutkow, where his family lived. DNA analysis was conducted, and it was confirmed that the dead body was indeed Matseusa's, but police could not determine the exact date and time of his death. Number 3.
Alright. That was actually kind of fucking wild, not gonna lie. That had so many twists and turns. What the fuck?
On a Wednesday, July 5th, 2018, 23-year-old Angela Hernandez left her Portland home to drive to Lancaster in Southern California to attend her sister's wedding.
Try and find her,
According to
Aiden,
her
and
family,
film.
on Thursday at
In case something
10:18 p.m.,
goes wild.
Angela texted one of her
Thanks for your sub,
sisters
Amanda.
to say that she was getting tired and decided to stop in the city of Half Moon Bay. She said she would be sleeping in her vehicle at a parking lot behind a Safeway store located at 70 North Cabrillo Highway 1. On Friday at 7:54 a.m., after getting enough sleep, Angela texted her sister that she was leaving the parking lot and headed back on the road to Lancaster. This was her last message. Surveillance cameras at the store confirmed nothing was amiss. According to deputies, her route from Half Moon Bay to Lancaster would have taken her approximately 6 hours. Angela would suddenly stop texting and her phone goes straight to voicemail. For her family, this is very unusual of her, not texting and calling. So by Friday night, Angela's family reported her missing. Angela is the type of person who's always active on social media. Since then,
Lancaster
she has
sucks,
not been
does it?
active. Her family doesn't believe that Angela would intentionally disappear. They said Angela has not shown them any signs of depression, to be suicidal, or any indicators that would explain her unexpected disappearance. Investigators would say that her last cell phone ping was from a cell tower near 700 Highway 1, Davenport, California, on July 6th at 3:33 p.m. Davenport is less than an hour south of Half Moon Bay. Investigators from Oregon to California searched for clues to her disappearance.
Thanks to the resub.
But Angela
Jaeger.
is nowhere to be
Cat.
found.
Oh, Cal sucks
Her
ass.
family is deeply worried and offered a $10,000 reward for information. They were also putting up flyers hoping someone may know what happened to her. Search parties even canvassed Highway 1 looking for signs of a vehicle careening off a cliff, but found nothing. On July 10th, the Santa Cruz County Sheriff flew over the Davenport area and found no trace of Angela or her car.
Well, I mean,
Then on a Friday,
what?
July 13th,
Yeah, that sounds about par for the
1
course.
week
You were
after her disappearance,
very high.
a couple, Chelsea and Chad Moore, spotted a white
Chad.
2011 Jeep Patriot over the side of a cliff in the area of State Highway 1, north of Nacimiento Ferguson Road. Chelsea and Chad Moore are surfers, but on that day the waves weren't great, so they decided to explore a remote beach and found a fishing spot. Using ropes, the couple climbed down a little-known and treacherous path. For an hour or so, they hiked along the beach north. Around 5 p.m., the Moores found a bumper in the sand. They walked around a bend and saw the damaged SUV. They found no one inside, but began to gather items and remove the license plate so they could report it to the police. As high tide snuck in around 6:15 p.m., the couple decided to leave a different way out. Then they heard a scream of a woman. They turned around and Angela was right there on the rocks.
Wow.
Chelsea ran off to get help, and it was when she reached the camp post she saw the missing flyer for Angela Hernandez, and it dawned on her that she had been down there for a week.
I did not expect that
In a
ending.
few hours, a rescue team pulled Angela up the cliff. Once in the hospital, Angela was reunited with her family. Angela told the California Highway Patrol she was driving near Big Sur down Highway 1, headed to Southern California in her SUV, when a small animal crossed the road.
Oh.
She swerved to miss it, and in doing so, shot her SUV off the road and off a cliff, tumbling down.
I can't believe she survived. That's
to a
incredible.
desolate, rocky beach. She had a brain hemorrhage, fractured ribs, broken collarbone, ruptured blood vessels in both eyes, and a collapsed lung. But she didn't die. When she came to, water lapped over her knees. She broke her window with a multi-tool, crawled out the window, swam to the beach, and passed out.
What did she eat
used
for a
radiator
week?
hose from her car to collect dripping water from moss along the shore.
What?
She walked for days. Up above, she could see cars pass by atop the cliff, but they couldn't see her or hear her screams.
How did she think of that?
Angela said when the time she saw Chelsea, she thought it was another of her rescue dreams. She couldn't believe that they were even real. Angela said in her post on Facebook that she feels, "I have everything I've ever wanted. I'm sitting here in the hospital, laughing with my sister until she makes broken bones hurt."
Oh my God.
I've met some of the most beautiful human beings that I think I'll ever meet in my entire life. I've experienced something so unique and terrifying. I can't imagine that there isn't a bigger purpose for
Thanks
me
to the
in
Prime,
this life.
Muzzy.
I don't know, you guys. Life is incredible. Number 2.
That is what is she doing now? It'd be a shame if she's not like fucking a huge deal, you know, changing the world after that. To use a radiator hose to collect dripping water from moss. What a fucking genius. What was it, Angela Hernandez? Because you can absolutely survive a week without food. It's just probably couldn't do it without water. That must be like a really, really like huge difference in height than what we actually see on video. Because she, according to this, she was screaming while the rescuers were looking for her just above, and they couldn't hear her down below. You have to be real fucking high up there for that.
54-year-old Maria Evelyn Seos mysteriously went missing when she decided to go along with her then high school
and the sound of
friends
waves,
to
true.
Singapore. According to her daughter, Joanna Marie Seos, her mother was in their house together with her and her live-in partner Ronald James Ruby when Maria's batchmates from high school came by with an SUV to get her to go to Singapore. She said her mother was upset about a family matter at that time, so she decided to go to get some time away from stress.
The Prime Steezy.
Joanna's brother, who was only named by the media as Michael, was shocked when he arrived home from school and his mother wasn't home anymore. He thinks it's weird that his mother would go without telling him.
This was on our local news.
But
It's
he
fucked
decided
up.
not to report his mother missing.
Is it like
because
terms of
probably
service?
Maria just needed time and will soon return home. Later on, Maria would time to time message Michael and Joanna on Facebook. In one message to her son, Maria greeted Michael belated happy birthday and that she's very sorry she went away without telling him. She said she's okay in Singapore and that he should not worry. Also, she asked if he already had a job. She also asked Michael to understand her because she's getting old and just wanted to experience being alone and have a life without stress. She also asked if Joanna had already given birth. On one occasion, she even sent a gift to Joanna for her birthday. In other messages from Maria to Michael, she said she cannot message all the time because she's busy with work, then later asked Michael again if he already applied for a job. Michael eventually found a job at their local bank in Cavite City. Michael became suspicious because Maria never answered his question of which city she is working in Singapore.
This is absolutely
never
just
called when he asked
someone
if she
else.
could call just to know if she is all right. Growing more suspicious, Michael decided to ask his mother's batchmates from high school, the one who supposedly went together with Maria, to Singapore. He found out that not even one of them had any idea that Maria went to Singapore at all. In June 2018, Michael decided to report Maria missing, but probably there was not much effort by the Philippine police to investigate the matter. In 2019, Michael was left living alone in their house since Joanna and her live-in partner broke up. Both went away from the house. In 2020, Michael decided to renovate the extended area of their house because it wasn't still finished and was a bit disorganized. The area doesn't have a ceiling and no tiles.
Oh, holy shit, her body was in here,
When workers started
huh?
to chisel the cement on an unfinished septic tank behind their house, they found Maria's personal belongings, including her passport and wallet, with her ID. Later, they would discover her mummified body. It turned out Maria never left her house. Instead, she is just right behind her own house, on top of the unfinished septic tank. Joanna and her live-in partner, Ronald James Ruby, were investigated and eventually admitted to the crime. It is reported that Joanna and Ronald have planned the murder very well. The two knew that Maria's son Michael would just return home the next day because he needed to do his thesis, giving them plenty of time to commit the heinous
Exit
crime.
Tier 1 Smexy.
On that day of her demise, Joanna and Ronald fooled Maria by telling her she should get dressed so they can go somewhere nice. They have a big surprise for her. But as soon as Maria went downstairs to get ready to go, Ronald, who was hiding under the stairs, attacked her from behind with a hammer.
Why,
When
though?
he saw that she's still breathing, he asked Joanna to get a knife and then stabbed her to death. The investigation revealed Ronald had extreme hatred towards Maria. It's believed that Maria was always mad about her daughter getting pregnant at a very young age, only 16 years old, asking Ronald all the time when he would go to get a job, and that they were still in her house. According to Joanna's statement, on the day of the murder, she asked Ronald not to carry out the plan because it would be bad for her to have no father and now with no mother. Joanna's father died in 2011, but the murder went on anyway. According to police, they let Maria's lifeless body lay on the floor for 2 hours before dragging her to the top of an unfinished septic tank at the back of their house. Ronald then put cement over her body. Over time, due to decomposition, Maria's body would smell. Every time this would happen, Ronald would just add more cement to seal in the smell.
What the fuck?
One time, Michael said, he caught Ronald putting cement over the septic tank and asked him why. Ronald answered that his mother asked him to do so before she allegedly went to Singapore so that it would not smell bad. Michael actually believed this. Joanna and Ronald then fooled everybody again. They used Maria's Facebook and pretended on social media as if nothing had happened badly in the family. Joanna even kept posting on her Facebook some positive and motivational words. Nobody would have suspected that she and Ronald just committed a heinous crime in their house. The development of this case stays true to the saying that no secret can remain hidden forever.
Thanks to resub, Al.
Number 1.
What the fuck?
In March of 2012, Anton Palipa disappeared from his home in Scarborough in Toronto,
They found out because
Canada,
Michael renovated.
amid a prolonged struggle with schizophrenia.
Thanks to the Prime, Caleb.
Anton lived in BC during the late 90s and 2000s. While in Vancouver, Anton had been a key member of the Anti-Poverty Committee and had a long history of activism in the city, dating back to...
Real quick, what is the Anti-Poverty Committee? Are they against... They hate people that are poor, or they hate the idea that people can be poor?
to 1999.
Thanks to Prime, Iron
That
Man.
year, he was among several people arrested for occupying the offices of then NDP Premier Glenn Clark.
Thanks
In
to
the
Tier
years
1
leading up to his
Bit
disappearance,
Blast.
Anton's family had tried to get him help as he was struggling with mental health. Before they were able to do so, he disappeared. There was no trace that he'd left voluntarily. His possessions and important documents were all still at his home. No one knew where he could be, and missing posters were put up in his place. The family was desperate for information and had no idea what to think. Despite trying to believe otherwise, they found it increasingly difficult to dispel the fears that Anton might be dead. His brother Stefan alerted the police and checked wherever he could for his brother. He looked in homeless shelters, jails, and even in morgues to see if there had been any sign of him, but all his efforts turned up no answers. Then, in late December 2016, almost 5 years since Anton's disappearance, Stefan received a phone call notifying him Anton had been found by police without shoes or identification along a busy highway in northern Brazil.
What the
Anton,
fuck?
who does not speak Portuguese, did not make sense to the police and was visibly distraught. A Canadian-born police officer named Helenis Vidigal was able to learn Anton was a Canadian, and using that bit of information, headed online to try and track down his family. He said a couple of things that made sense to someone who has lived in Canada, for instance. At one point, he asked me if I am a Francophone. Also asked me to get the RCMP because he would like to be repatriated. Vidigal located Anton with 3 other officers on a highway in Ji-Parana in the state of Rondônia on November 28, 2016. She initially thought he was a beggar because of his unkempt appearance. Although Anton refused to speak about his family, she said she sensed there was a family out there looking for him, and she set out to find them. Vidigal posted a photo of Anton to her Facebook page and enlisted the assistance of her Canadian friends to try identifying him. She said she also sent a few emails to missing person groups in Canada.
There's a lot here that
RCMP,
doesn't make sense.
And the Canadian Embassy in Brazil. At the end of December, the police officer stumbled across a missing person poster with Anton Polipa's image from around the time of his disappearance online. She contacted the Twitter handle listed on the poster and received a response within minutes from Anton's family friend. The friend put Vidigal in touch with Anton's brother Stefan,
5
and they made
years.
arrangements for his return home. Anton briefly escaped from police supervision in Porto Velho at the beginning of December. Eventually, police were notified that he had been seen close to the BR-319 highway that runs through the Amazon rainforest. Vidigal said she was concerned for his safety during this time. Because up there big predators like jaguars, alligators, snakes, among other deadly animals are real, we are talking about the Amazon jungle, she wrote. Luckily, Anton was discovered in the city of Manaus
Over the
January
corpse of a
3rd,
bear he just
2017,
beat to death.
where he was taken to a psychiatric hospital, according to Vidigal. His brother Stefan met him at the hospital and took him back to Canada. Stefan told CBC News his brother looked really rough. His health was starting to deteriorate, he said. We got him just in time. He raised more than $15,000 through GoFundMe to pay for the flight to bring his brother home on February 6th, 2017. Anton was then staying with his brother in Toronto while he recovers from the ordeal. Stefan also told CBC it's still unclear how Anton has spent the last 5 years of his life, though it's believed he made it to Brazil mostly by walking and hitchhiking.
Oh.
Anton was somehow able to travel through the United States in Central America
Holy shit.
without a passport, intending to reach the National Library of Buenos Aires in Argentina. However, when he made it there, he was turned away due to his lack of identification. This led to him continuing his journey and heading to Brazil, where he was eventually found. Amazingly, he survived by picking fruits and berries and scavenging food and clothes in rubbish piles, along with the help of strangers. Whilst in the Amazon jungle, he managed to avoid poisonous snakes and spiders, but did lose all 10 of his toenails.
Well, small price to pay to visit such a great library. That was pretty wild. Those stories actually did not disappoint. I'd never heard of any of those, and they were pretty... Virus by Disrupt. The world's deadliest computer virus. Alright.
A 6.5 magnitude earthquake is shaking the foundations of the Banggai Islands. 93 million miles away, Mars, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter.
Oh, is it a
Saturn,
space virus?
And the Sun. All conjoined.
Aliens hacked our hentai folders?
Back at the equator, it's early morning. A student presents an idea for his senior thesis. He says the internet has become too costly for the average person.
Damn, this is really well made. Holy shit.
He can create a program that would retrieve the account logins of other individuals, hijack their internet.
Thanks for resub, Tim Tom.
Obviously, he wouldn't release the bug. He just wants to show he can do it before graduation. The dean's response?
We do not... What does that say?
Student writes...
We do not produce Burglocks. What is that, like a Magic the Gathering card? What the fuck is a Burglock? We do not burger? No, it's not a burger. What the fuck is this? Burglars! Oh, this is a K. Oh, I thought this was a K. Burglars. He just... he forgot this part, so it looks like a K. Okay.
The last line of code. He originally developed it to be geolocked to Manila, a safety net. But last minute, out of sheer curiosity,
Thanks to the resub, Yanray.
he removes the geographic restriction. Shrouded in the universal message of peace, the file looks to be from a secret admirer.
Oh, this is like the... Ooh, this is a classic.
Once opened, the full file extension reveals itself.
Hey, thank you,
This is
Tip.
a visual
Thanks for resub,
basic
Come Dragon.
It uses an exploit in early computer systems that allowed it to run system code simply by being opened. The top two files are sent to the Windows system folder, where they wait. The
This-
bottom one is sent to
the
the Windows directory.
production on this is off the
where it
fucking
creates its
charts.
own key in the local machine registry. This causes other programs to run as soon as the system boots, before the user even has a chance to log in. From there, it opens Internet Explorer and randomly picks from a series of 4 web pages. Once landed, it downloads winbugsfix.exe. Then, it adds another registry key at the starting line.
Okay.
It gathers the system
What does it
log,
all mean?
password, IP address,
Oh.
and remote access information, packages it up neatly, and sends it to mailme at super.net.ph. After the details are set,
I love that he has like his own
Word
little
searches
fucking
for
video
files
game world
containing
here to
extensions
enter.
like .js or
It's like Code Miko
.css.
shit.
It overwrites them with the file extension. It does the same for JPEGs and MP3s, rendering them completely unretrievable.
World's deadliest computer virus.
Once the damage is done, the worm enters Outlook, scans for emails, then sends itself using the originator's email
Thanks to
address.
Tier 1 Seagull and resub Rimbuck.
Destruction is now spreading through a message of peace and love.
You are watching Disrupt.
This is movie quality shit here.
From Philippines to Hong Kong, the virus has infected several large corporations and banks. Not only deleting important files within the companies, grabbing the email listings of all individuals in contact. From there, it jumps to Europe, where it wreaks particular damage to the email servers within the House of Commons. They're forced to shut down, same with the Denmark Parliament. With classified documents in danger of being wiped out.
Who the fuck
US
opened
Air
I
Force
love you
deployed
emails at the Parliament
ASAP.
building?
Works by
Nobody's
utilizing
getting an I
the
love you
sensors
message there.
that the Air Force had previously placed across bases throughout the country. It then creates a sort of window for centralized command
What
to
is
view
Exit Tier 1 Nathan. Computer virus.
Email matches
Yeah,
the
but
description. Command sends a
not understanding
TCP
the video.
reset to that desktop.
Giving
Just explaining the virus?
Yeah, and what? It's like a history lesson.
Oh.
The private
That's
sector
boring.
is not so lucky.
Oh,
Most
well, I
companies are
highly
using
disagree.
Outlook, including AT&T and Ford. They are forced to take their email servers offline.
Exit Tier 1 your friend
The virus
Tio
is
and the
now
Prime
affecting
Nardo.
nearly 55 million computers. Along with the emails, a second spreader has been identified. Within the original files, one is named mirc.ini.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be a
This is the
dude's
computer
name.
for IRC client.
It was just a picture of my dad.
It automatically
He was spreading it back in 2000.
Contacts that the victim may share on a server. Instead of a love letter, though, it sends this message. Thinking it's a legit file, tech-savvy users of IRC would recognize the name, the author of MIRC. It's only after running the script
Thanks to give sub your
they
friend
know
and the
it
resub
had nothing
Kartik.
to do with it. Security analysts are scanning the virus, looking for clues as to the origin. They find that a component within closely resembles a password cracker named that was discovered 4 months earlier. They find within it signed names and resumes, an entry that says, in the resume portion is an extended list of
Like the
first
Joker
and
with a
last
calling
names,
card.
along with a group title.
Good man.
This traces back to an after-school club at a computer college in the Philippines. An apartment is raided. Inside is a man, a woman, and an empty desk with a dusty outline of a Gateway Performance 1500.
They know.
The man, now identified as Romo Ramones, is the boyfriend of Irene de Guzman.
Oh, is this something that actually
who is the
happened?
older sister of a student
Yeah.
in the college.
No, I thought it was just explaining what could have happened
just
if
so happens
this
to
happened.
be on the list.
What?
I didn't know that they actually had a virus go through. When was this?
2000.
Oh, well, that's why.
Exit Tier 1, Pinkerton, the Prime Kawarda. Resub Jake.
You're going to find that it's a lot lighter than usual as you drive eastbound from the...
That was Love Shack by the B-52s. You're listening to 102.7 KISS FM. Folks, it's a sunny 75.5 degrees in Los Angeles.
Fucking 3. Why would I know about this?
It's Win a Porsche
Well,
Friday. You know the rules.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember it super well either, but I don't know why it'd be a fake history lesson.
I didn't realize that it was a history lesson. I mean, he's just explaining what happens if a virus goes through and all this stuff happens. I didn't know it was something that really happened that way. That it was just going through like this could happen if this.
I get
Very
ya.
recognizable as our current day web. This is before .coms and .orgs.
Hey, he said like a history lesson. Doesn't make me think it actually happened and it's an actual
Has just
history
come across
lesson.
a telephone number for ARPANET was the first wide area network that allowed different connections to send information to each other. Also known
I wonder if they're gonna bring up my old website here for evidence. I remember I had a Pixo.
his home modem. Sure enough,
Maybe that's the key.
He's gained access to the University of California, Berkeley. Diving further, he discovers there's potential government documents hidden behind a password. He tries guessing. He tries
UCB.
Over the next
Good
few weeks,
guess.
Dante continues logging in. For him, it's less about obtaining sensitive information or leaking it, more about gaining power, snooping around, seeing how far he can cross the line. On one of his deep dives, he makes a fatal error. He forgets to mask his login name.
Why
This
even make
error
the
lights
login
up a
name
silent flag
your name?
Miles away.
Make
from
it like
security office.
Dick Hard Thundercock
Unbeknownst
or
to
something.
Kevin,
Who cares?
He continues. The kid answers the door. He's greeted by the Los Angeles DA. They seize his computer, but since he's underage, he isn't charged.
Now he works for NSA.
In the back
Maybe
reaches
Tier 1
of a
Sentient
Menlo
Salt
Park
and the
storage
resub
facility,
Moshe and the two
two
gift subs
workers are
Linen.
clearing out unpaid storage units.
Already
It's a
seen that
routine
Seagull.
job.
It's like a
Break
300
open
million
the
view
lock,
video.
Clear out the belongings, auction off what they can. But in this particular unit, they find something. The Stanford Research Institute, one of the centers impacted by the previous escapades,
Is it Prime
reaches
Rye?
out to Kevin, proposing that he works for them, securing their network. The 18-year-old is hired.
Hey, congrats, Kevin. Fuck
He's
yeah.
onto a few blocks from the main entrance
Big
of
pickup.
SRI. He spends his days working on encryption algorithms for secure military communications. He's successfully gone from an underground black hat hacker to a white hat hacker with a paycheck. Detective James Neal of the Menlo Park PD thinks he's looking at a standard case of stolen property. The storage bill is assigned to
Thanks to the anonymous gift sub.
John Anderson. A quick search finds this name to be a fake. Upon further inspection of the unit, the detective finds blank IDs and a document containing an unpublished number of the Soviet embassy.
Oh
A page
boy.
back, another document
We've been infiltrated.
containing the name.
Thanks to the 5 gift subs, Shuby, and the Prime Urinal Goblin, and Dad Kisser. Cool name.
The National Bureau of Investigation issues a mandatory court appearance for two students, Onel de Guzman, who originally proposed the thesis, and Michael Buen, who is suspected to have helped write the structure of the warrant.
This is his trial date still pending 21 years
Nowhere to
later.
be found.
One day we'll ask him about it.
The worm continues its spread, though the effects are beginning to weaken. A press conference is called. The guest of honor, Onel de Guzman. When asked if he is the one who unleashed the virus, Onell states, and when questioned if he feels anything.
Oh come
about
on,
the damage
go
caused,
hard with the
he looks
supervillain
down,
shit.
mumbles nothing, then covers his ears. Being the first large-scale computer crime out of the Philippines,
Thanks to resub,
the
Jeff.
authorities have trouble charging Onell.
And drop bears.
Over the subsequent months,
Alright, man. We had a good
Philippine
day.
Congress passed legislation dealing with computer-related crimes. But seeing as this was made official after Onell's stunt, he can't be charged. Ultimately, the case against him boils down to credit card fraud. Onell never admits
Thanks
to
to 5
creating
gift sub
the
sticky
virus,
keys and resub
only that
plant.
he may have inadvertently released the program. All charges against him are dropped. In total, the estimated damages are said to exceed $7.8 billion in wiped files.
Wow, not bad.
For cleanup.
Fuck yeah,
2 years
Onell de
later,
Guzman. Congrats.
He finally admits to creating the virus and releasing it. He said he did it alone.
But why? What did he want? The madman.
ABS files have been written. And nope, it's been overwritten. It will not boot.
Exit Prime, Narfles,
Right
and
now,
resub
a cybersecurity specialist
Lyricity.
is deep in an organization's
Yeah, we'll do
infrastructure.
Darkman in a bit.
He's well equipped to face any situation that may arise, but he started at the fundamentals. Is offering computer science courses at a fraction of the cost of traditional university rates.
Wait, this is absolutely an ad.
To become a network engineer, cybersecurity
Yeah,
specialist.
oh, it was still so well produced, I thought it was part of the hack. Shit, they almost had me. God, it's like the fucking Chris Angel pre-commercial,
Intro,
yeah, pre-commercial shit. It's
Polson
so
is
fucking
brought in for
cool.
questioning. He denies everything.
Please resub Zeus.
A few hours later, they accompany him to
I
his
thought
condo.
that said I forgot the
Inside,
law, not
they
I
find a
fought the
room
law.
full of
I was like, what?
One of these is a lineman's headset. This device can be connected wherever there are exposed telephone wires accessible. When connected to a line, the handset is essentially indistinguishable from regular telephones, except it can intercept active calls, answer incoming calls, and make outgoing
Imagine
calls.
having to straighten all those wires
Back then, you needed
Yeah.
a license to operate it, something Kevin is lacking. They confiscate some of the equipment and start their investigation.
Is that Kevin, that son of a bitch?
Documents and equipment. They
Going in there to
find
flip over a fax
series of
machine?
pictures. A young, slender male crouching down and picking the lock
Slender
of
man.
a Pacific Bell trailer. Further pictures show
Whoa!
the same subject inside the telephone trailer, posing with it.
We got him. Thanks to the resub Shabay.
Past 4 years, Polson has been finding a particular thrill in dumpster diving.
Okay.
This will be your last chance to get the...
Who doesn't love a
He's
good
using
dumpster, huh?
those to gain access to physical networks.
Have you ever
FBI
dumpster dived?
agents
Nope.
silently surround
I just
campus
like
where
garbage
they were
trucks.
calling. Then,
Like a real man.
The leader's phone rings. The agents immediately trace the call, only to be led straight to a Pacific Bell number. Instead of jumping town and heading out of country, Kevin decides to
Thanks for
stay
5
close
resubs,
to
Chance. And the resub
home, dyes his
Nocturne.
hair a different color.
Thank you, Chance.
Picks up a new identity. To get some quick cash, he utilizes his phone line skills in an all-too-easy scheme.
We're sorry. All of our representatives are still assisting other customers.
It's a sunny 75.5 degrees in Los Angeles, and today isn't just any
Dark Souls win? Soon. We'll hit more Dark Souls soon.
It's Win a Porsche Friday. You know the rules.
Thanks to tier 1 Monolithic.
I'm going to bed.
Yeah, sleep well.
Let's roll.
Kevin flips a switch, blocks every other caller from reaching the line. Now, any line that is picked up would redirect to him,
You don't have to be up for anything.
including the 102nd.
Not early.
Congratulations, you've won a brand new Porsche. Who's the lucky winner? Wow, I can't believe it. This
Thanks to tier 1 Gantz.
Michael B. Peters.
One can only speculate about what motivated Kevin Polson.
Oh God! It's non-pedophile hunter Chris Hansen.
Possibly a genius. But now he is a wanted man, facing up to 37 years in prison.
A TV show has just aired an episode about Kevin's hacks. The show opens their phone lines to callers that may have tips about the subjects. On the premiere of this particular episode, the phone lines are jammed.
Classic Kevin.
During his time laying,
he released an EMP
LA
device.
Vice Squad, a division focused on public order crimes like narcotics and gambling, pick up Kevin on an undisclosed minor crime. Eventually, though, they release him, failing to check the federal warrant database.
That was lucky.
The feds have received a tip that Kevin is still living in LA.
Thanks a gift sub against
They
Sticky.
question some of his acquaintances. One says that he frequents. They go to the store, give the employees his picture, and wait.
Just go to a different market. You can't be forming habits as a criminal.
Is working the night shift.
Gotta keep them on their toes.
He spots a familiar face. Kevin has dyed his hair a light blonde, but it isn't enough.
Hey Wheeler, thanks for the 5 gift subs, man.
Dials the authorities, ensuring Kevin doesn't spot him. By the time they arrive, Kevin is gone. For the next 24 hours, the agent on duty, Terry, stakes out the parking lot.
Thanks to the Prime,
pulls
see
up.
that?
Terry takes a position at the front door. 2 clerks sneak up behind Kevin and tackle him to the ground. Hearing the
But it
commotion,
wasn't
Terry
Kevin.
runs in.
It was a 9-year-old schoolboy Kevin
They bring
paid
him into the back room
to impersonate him.
transportation can arrive. As if on cue, Kevin begins complaining that his eyes are watering. He requests that he take his contact lenses out and get the glasses from a bag in his car. Terry agrees and retrieves the bag, but he checks it before handing it over. Sure enough, in the glasses case is a universal handcuff key.
Oh, wait, what? I still think it's super dumb that all handcuffs use the same key. I think that's so fucking dumb. What an oversight.
She recognizes the phrase and calls one of Kevin's hacker friends, who subsequently retrieves an incriminating computer from an undisclosed location. However, the police are a step ahead. Months earlier, they recruited a local hacker to infiltrate the local LA hacker circle. He rings the bell and the incriminating computer is intercepted. It takes nearly 9 months for them to decrypt it. Nearly 2 years after his arrest, Poulsen is accused of 19 counts that include conspiracy,
rough.
connection with access devices,
They got him.
interception of wire or electronic communications, and money laundering. He faces 100 years in prison and nearly $5 million in fines.
Give him a job.
This is considered one of the first large-scale cases against the newly defined
Thank you,
crime
Prime Toad.
of hacking. If successfully charged, they hope to send a clear message to the mid-90s hacking community. Eventually, Poulsen pleads guilty to several counts of computer fraud. mail
Why are
fraud,
people arrested
wire
for
fraud,
money laundering?
and money laundering. He's ordered to
Are you
pay
serious?
$58K in fines and given a 51-month sentence. Kevin is released on parole. By court order, he's barred from using computers. For the first time, in the 2000s, he flips the switch, gains access.
No, Kevin, fuck! Wait, 2012?
Okay, this is the question. Did I ever consider leaving California altogether, going across the country? I did consider that, but... And
I
think
don't
this-
think I'm
this
gonna
might
watch
be part
CS:GO
of the
Rage.
hacker
It doesn't
mindset.
sound very
I
fun.
wanted to solve the problem, not run away from it.
Oh, I thought he turned into Tony Hawk for a second. He gave up hacking and now he just skateboards.
Hey, so I was just thinking about how everyone in the world has their own conscience, their own lives, everything. Everyone alive is living. So then I thought about how much computer processing power it would
Pretty
take to
impressive.
everybody's
Not
conscience.
bad.
I'm not saying that our universe is simulated. I don't actually believe in that theory.
Oh, okay.
All I'm
okay.
saying is that...
Is this Kevin?
Just stop for a moment and think about how much processor power would be required to simulate everybody's conscience. Another thing...
Okay, we don't need to get too deep. There's the Prime Krigi.
They say that nothing on the internet is ever truly gone. One of the most compelling aspects
That's
of
wrong.
this very
All of my
resource
old
that we
anime
use every
music
day
videos are gone.
is the fact that, for the
Can't get
most
them back.
part, any and everything that's ever been posted online can be archived.
Nope, not my
forever, like a never-ending diary.
I've been trying for years to find
This
my old
allows
videos.
the possibility for an incomprehensible amount of information gathered from the past and present available to us at any
Thanks
given
for
time.
Sorry and Paradox.
Over on Reddit, a lot of strange, disturbing, and even depressing things have played out over the
Hey,
years.
thank you, Canada
leaving
Matt.
us
Appreciate
with
the 5
tons
gift
of
subs.
stories and events to dig through. Within this vast sea of archives, though, is one that really hit home for me back when it happened, as it, in real time, merged the realms of the internet and reality, ultimately leaving people absolutely baffled at the resolution.
I'll
Get
be the
ready,
judge of that.
because tonight, we're going to head back in time to 2016 to explore the incredibly bizarre and heartbreaking story of a Redditor by the name of Jason in Hell.
Jason in Hell. That's pretty extreme.
On the late evening of October 28th of 2016, a Redditor named Jason in Hell would make a sudden post to the relationship advice subreddit, seeking counsel regarding a cheating situation that played out between his wife and neighbor. His post is titled, "I'm having a hard time coping with my wife having cheated on me with our neighbor."
Damn,
In
she
the
cheated with a
post,
51-year-old
he outlines in
dude?
immense detail
He must be
his
slinging
experience
meat.
catching his wife cheating on him over a year prior. At the time, though, little did everyone know that this would be the spearhead of the absolute turmoil that he and his family would soon begin to endure.
Hey, thanks. God damn, Car Stark. Thank you. Appreciate the bits.
So, quick side note before we move on. I did a story narration back in my Redditor
Maybe I
Escapes
can't
the
watch
Cult
that
video,
shadow.
and you guys seem to like it. For this one, we're going to lay things out largely the same way. We'll go through
Prime Party.
Jason's full story before diving into the aftermath of how things turned out. The original post is about an 8-minute read, so if you'd like to grab a snack or drink before we get into it,
Oh, Jesus,
now would
okay.
be the time.
I was hoping for just the cliff notes, but that's okay. Fuck it, we're already here. I'll let it ride.
I'm having a hard time coping with my wife having cheated on me with her neighbor. It has been 476 days since I confronted her about it. How do I know? Because every time I catch myself thinking about it, I tell myself, it's only been X days. Maybe you won't think about it tomorrow.
That sounds highly unlikely.
So
He's
to go
not an
back to the
anime
beginning,
character.
I had
No one
just
does
taken on
that.
a new project and new responsibilities at work. I was working a lot of hours, 60 plus per week, and was noticeably stressed. It was in May of 2015 that I noticed that she had a password on her phone. When confronted about it, she told me it was just because she was planning my Father's Day present and didn't want me to ruin the surprise. About a week later, she came
Good
to me
plan.
and told me that she felt guilty keeping a big secret from me, and told me that she was having our neighbor, a contractor, build a home office for me as my present. It struck me as odd, as in our 6 years together she's never said she felt guilty about anything and always insists that she never regrets anything in her life. Time goes on, her phone is still
Thanks for
password
resub, Yee
protected,
and the Prime
and
Squish.
things don't feel right. I see her using her phone and smiling to herself more and more often, but when I ask her what she's doing, she says nothing and puts her phone away. So one morning, I wait for her to get in the shower, and I grab her phone before it requires the password. I go through her messages and find that she's texting the neighbor. I'm all covered in frosting.
What?
You want to lick it off?
What is this, porn? Like, what are you talking? There's no fucking way this is real. What? Why is everyone saying this is real? Who? So was she actually covered in frosting? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Raided a kid's birthday party and fell and flopped around in the cake? I highly doubt this is real. The guy starts by saying, it's been 476 days since I found this. I know because I've counted every day. Telling myself I'll forget about it tomorrow or whatever. That does not sound real at all. I'll let it ride, but this is very fishy at best.
There were no other messages to the neighbor, but I found out later that was because she had set up her phone to delete messages after a certain amount of time. I felt uncomfortable with it, but I knew she had a perverted sense of humor, and I thought she would never do anything to hurt me. More time goes by, and the neighbor is spending more and more time at our house, but the office is being completed slower and slower. I can't help but worry that something isn't right, so I start checking her location using Google Timeline. It was at this point that I realized that there are large gaps in her GPS history because she was turning off her phone's GPS.
Jesus.
Fast forward to July.
So this guy's basically a
The
stalker.
paranoia is driving me nuts, so I tell her that I need to install a new antivirus on her phone. While she has it unlocked for me, I install an anti-theft software so I can remotely turn the GPS back on and set up AT&T message backup and restore so I can read all of her text messages.
Does a program like that even exist?
Computer.
That sounds like a convenient tool in like a bad CW movie.
My 2 kids, so my wife
for people that don't understand
the
technology.
day to herself. I watch my wife's activity from work as she spends the day trying to meet up with a neighbor.
That exists?
But is unsuccessful because he's busy with another job site. That night, we get the kids back from my mom's house and we go to dinner with a neighbor, his girlfriend, and his son. My wife and his girlfriend are having a good time, drinking, laughing, and just joking around. His girlfriend mentions that she'd like to see Magic Mike. I say it's a good idea and I'll watch the kids so my wife and her can go. So my wife and her go, and the neighbor and I go back to my house so the kids can play video games together.
Oh shit, he beats his ass.
The kids are back in my son's room playing games, and the neighbor's sitting across from me on the other couch. It's at this point that my wife starts texting him. She's describing sex acts that she would like to perform with him, and he's reciprocating. She tells him to check his Snapchat, and at the same time, I get a Snapchat from her too, and it's her fingering herself in a bathroom stall. They keep
Is he
talking,
married
trying
to
figure out when they can meet up
fucking
and have sex.
Susie Squirts a
They decide
lot?
on
Like
Monday morning after I go to
who
work.
does that?
So in my head,
What?
I already planned to pretend to leave and circle back to catch them. But then they tell each other they love each other, and it's all I can do not to leap off the couch and knock him out. But I contain myself and continue reading
This
the
seems so
conversation
goddamn
unfolding
fake.
in front of me. Then he tells her, "You're my girl now," to which she replies, "Always have been," ending with him writing, "And always will be."
This is fanfic. This is literally fucking fanfic. Holy shit.
My wife and the neighbor's
I've been
girlfriend
duped.
return from the movie, and I ask them politely to sit down. I then ask the kids to stay in my son's room and shut the door. I return to the living room and confront my
Damn,
wife
Rhett.
and the neighbor. I say, "So you two love each other,
Really
huh?"
appreciate the huge
And
bits,
my
and I'm
wife
glad
goes
you
into
had fun
full-blown
tonight.
denial mode, and
Thank
the
you,
neighbor's
Rhett.
girlfriend starts smacking him. I ask my wife if she's been texting him. She says no, so I show her the text messages. She admits to it but says it was the first time that it went that far. I ask my wife if she sent him pictures. She says no, so I show her the picture, and she admits it but says it was the first time. I ask her if she's having sex with him, and she says no. Because I didn't want to catch them
Please
having sex
resub
together,
Limp
I
Listen
didn't have
and
evidence
Ray.
to prove her
Give
wrong,
sub Ray.
so that one stayed unresolved. I tell her that I'm leaving her, and she tells me that she'll make sure that I never see my kids again if I do. She planned on using the fact that I had attempted suicide in high school to prove me unfit to have children. She continues to say that it was my fault for being so busy with work and stressed out that she just wanted someone she could talk to. Then she gives me an ultimatum to decide what I'm going to do, or she'll decide for me. The neighbor's girlfriend starts defending the two of them, saying that it couldn't have been that
What?
serious if they weren't having sex, and that my wife and I are too perfect together to let this break us up. The neighbors go home, and my wife and I
Okay,
argue
yeah,
for
that
the rest
sounds
of the
like
night
something
about
normal
what
that
we're gonna
happens.
do. We go to bed separately, having not resolved anything. We keep going back and forth on the subject all weekend, and finally settle on we were going to separate temporarily while we figure out what we want. I was going to stay in the house, and she was going to take the kids and go to her mom's house. That Monday I go to work, and I get a text from her in the middle of a meeting with my bosses, stating that she had explained things to our kids, but they were upset, and I needed to explain things to them also. I get home from work to find my kids crying. She had told them that mommy had to move out because dad was mad at her. When my son wanted to stay with me, she told him that he can't.
Oh, it's getting real dark.
My son put it together that if mommy has to move out because I'm mad at her, and he must move out, then I must have been mad at him too. My daughter was crying because my son was, but I don't think that she was old enough to understand what was happening. It was at this moment I realized that she was going to drag the kids through hell if I left her, so I swallowed my feelings and begged her to stay. She agreed and insisted that I apologize to our neighbor since we were still going to need to hang out with him because our sons are good friends.
Thanks for some
I
water.
hate it, but I do it anyway. We still hang out with them from time to time, and they come to our various birthday and holiday parties, but I'd do anything for my kids, and I behave civil every time. Things died down for a while. I still think about it constantly. I worry how I can keep from making her so unhappy that she cheats on me again. Then, almost a year after the original incident, around Father's Day again, she sends him pictures again. She claims that it was an accident and that she meant to send them to me instead. I don't fully believe her, but I move on anyway.
Thanks for resub, Prater.
Things have been quiet on that front for about 4 months now, but I still think about it constantly.
In this
is going to
video,
sound
Dion?
stupid, but I feel like I have a part of my brain that I can't shut off, that's always thinking. I used to use that to solve programming problems, and it made me very good at my job, but ever since this incident, the only thing it thinks about is her and him, and if I did the right thing. My job performance has suffered, and I feel like I haven't gotten sleep in months. I'm afraid that after this much time, and the fact that I begged her back, that to say that I want a divorce now would only make her more vindictive towards my kids and I just feel like I put myself so deep in a hole that I could never get back out. I haven't really talked to anyone about this. I didn't want to talk to my mom about it because I felt like she would treat my wife differently, and I didn't need the two fighting.
Alright, now I'm all caught up on the lore.
I tried talking to one friend about it, but his advice was to put my trust in God, but that was not much solace for me as I'm an atheist.
That sounds like a Redditor for sure.
Or how to move on from this.
And then I also spit in my friend's face and said wubba lubba dub dub.
In response to Jason, users chimed in with a mixed bag of emotions. To get the full picture on all the flack that he was getting for this, here are a few examples. I cannot believe you stayed with her. I cannot believe you begged
I don't
her
really
to stay.
care about the
I cannot
Redditor
believe you
response. I just
apologized
want
to
to
your
know
neighbor.
where this story goes, to be honest.
Smack the shit out of that old man. Go to an attorney and talk about ways to get custody of your kids. Your wife's a twat. Staying in a marriage for the sake of the kids never works out. She obviously was sleeping with him and then got you to apologize to him. She denied it all. She will put you through the ringer when you divorce her, but you should do it. Chances are, now she has a second phone and an email address to talk to him.
A detective.
Your wife
Good,
is vicious
finally.
and toxic, and you have to decide if you divorce her now or when your kids have moved out. The sooner the better. So this all would be a lot for anyone to handle. Taking some of the serious, grounded advice that a few people had thrown in there was pivotal for him to begin moving on from this. And so we did. 4 nights later, on November 1st, Jason would return to the relationship advice subreddit and make a follow-up post.
Okay, where are we at, Jason?
I'm taking your advice. He explains his next move. Instead of trying to fix something that she doesn't want to fix, I'm going to get myself and my kids out. I meet with an attorney next week. Thank you everyone for helping me see how far I had my head up my ass. In
Very
response
nice,
to
very
this
nice.
one, Reddit wished him luck in his endeavors, reinforcing the idea that he's making the right move. But then something strange would happen.
Uh-oh, aliens? What happened?
Going through the comments a bit
Galactic
deeper
fight?
reveals something a little odd. Like we said, yes, people were commending him on his decision, but about a week later, people began jumping back into the post,
What?
linking a news article that seemed to align with this situation with striking accuracy.
Good evening, I'm Jeff Smith. Thanks for joining us. 2 Montgomery County children are dead tonight. Their mother, 30-year-old Brandy Worley, says she is responsible for their deaths. News 18's Krista Henry joins us now live from the Montgomery County
There's the
courthouse
resub Logan
tonight
ad,
with more on
and the
this
tier 1
developing
Rico,
story.
and
Krista?
resub Spike Caps.
Well,
And
Jeff,
the big raid
this
tech
morning
ton.
when I asked Sheriff Mark
Thank you,
Castile
goddamn.
if
The door
Worley
of fate
showed any
shall
kind of
open.
remorse, he answered with no,
I've
and then
been
went on to
waiting
say,
for
quote,
you,
she, in
friends.
fact, acted very matter of fact.
Hold on. Thank you for the huge raid, Tectone. And thanks to the resub Rogan Gamer. Yeah, I still don't really believe this story is real. This seems like classic Reddit when they thought they caught the Boston bomber type thing, connecting these dots. Clearly I'm not done yet, so I don't know for sure. But yeah, just to catch you up to speed. Dude's wife was slamming meat of a 51-year-old neighbor, and dude went to Reddit for advice, as any sane man would do, I guess. And now Redditors in the follow-up are saying that his wife killed the kids. So that's where we're at. Thanks to Prime Shift. Reasons why I think it's fake. This guy counted every day for 476 days that his wife was cheating. And apparently his wife fingers herself in movie theater stalls and sends it to him or sends it to the neighbor on Snapchat and him. So, I don't know, that seems weird. Seems fishy.
According to ABC6 Indianapolis, on November 17th of that year, a Montgomery County mother was charged with 2 counts of murder after police say she admitted to killing her 2 young children. According to the probable cause affidavit, Brandy Worley told police that her husband was divorcing her, and "I did not want him taking them, so I stabbed them." The children's father, Jason Worley, was sleeping in the basement at the time of the crime.
Jesus, why the basement?
According to court documents, Jason had filed for divorce on Wednesday, citing an irretrievable breakdown in the marriage as the reason for the divorce. Now, this definitely carries tons of parallels to the original story. Here, we have a woman named Brandy Worley who, in cold blood, murdered her children, citing the fact that she didn't want Jason taking them as her motive. On the other hand, on Reddit, we have this story by this Jason and Hell guy, who has the same first name, might I add, about his unnamed wife being unfaithful and how he just filed for divorce. And lastly, in his original story, he relayed the fact that his wife claimed that he'll never see the kids again if the two split.
These recent Papa Blacks.
Back when this was unfolding, people were speculating that this might be the same guy. Tons of signs were pointing to this, but most were simply trying to maintain that tiny sliver of skepticism. That was until November 21st, when Jason would return to do one last follow-up, essentially confirming everyone's preconceptions. Thank you. I would like to give a heartfelt and sincere thank you for the advice and support I've received here. No one could have foreseen the tragedy that resulted from me filing for divorce. You guys perform a wonderful service to those in need, and I hope you continue to do so in the future. Below this, he attached a link to the same news article outlining the situation. And it was at this moment that everyone realized just how real this entire thing actually was.
Yeah.
Brandy was the one that stoically reported this to the authorities.
That sounds like a totally reasonable post for a father going through grief saying thank you and linking the death of his children so casually.
Montgomery County 911, where's your emergency?
203 South Madison Street,
In what town?
Darlington.
Hey, what's going on there?
I just stabbed myself and I killed my 2 children.
You stabbed yourself and killed your 2 children?
Thanks a good sub, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what's your name?
Brandy Worley.
Brandy what?
Worley.
Okay. How do you spell your last name?
Worley.
And where are the children at?
In my daughter's
No. All of this is real. I'm saying the Reddit post being this couple is what I'm questioning. I'm not done yet, so maybe I'll be convinced here in 4 minutes.
My husband wanted to divorce and wanted to take my kid. I won't let him have my kid.
Okay, and how old are your children?
7 and 3.
10 and 3?
7.
7 and 3?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And where did you stab yourself at?
In the neck.
Okay, are you bleeding?
Yeah, there's blood everywhere.
There's the bits
Okay, where are
lavender.
you at?
In my living room.
You're in their living room?
Mm-hmm.
According to court documents, the 2 children, Tyler and Charlie Worley, were stabbed, resulting in deep lacerations on both of their necks. Brandy had stabbed herself in the same place as well, but this surprisingly didn't end up killing her. Shortly after this, Brandy was treated at the hospital for her stab wound, and about a week later was admitted
Jesus
to jail,
Christ.
where she sat for 476 days up until her final sentencing. In 2018, she was convicted of 2 counts of murder, totaling at 120 years in prison. According to Fox 59, Brandy was expected to claim the insanity defense, but ended up settling for a guilty plea. She appeared to be just as unremorseful as she did in the 911 call.
In the prime.
She spoke in a very matter-of-fact manner when describing her crime. It was heart-wrenching to hear her speak as she did. All I want, and have ever wanted, was to have her out of sight and mind so I could move forward from this horror. To this day, Brandy Worley sits in the Rockville Correctional Facility in Park County, Indiana, serving out her time in prison for the remainder of her life. As for Jason, he's made a return to Reddit under the nickname Jason in Code, giving everyone a much requested update on how he's coping. Here, he claims that it's been incredibly far from easy, and at times he's considered taking his own life due to the anguish caused by the passing of his beloved children. Regarding the sentencing, he believes that Brandy shouldn't have gotten the death sentence because that's what she would have wanted, and after 9 years of giving her exactly that, he wanted to avoid it in any way he could. Overall, though, Jason mostly claims that he's doing better, and becomes more so with each passing day. If I can impart you on something that I have learned through all of this, it's that you should always take the time to be with the ones you love. It doesn't matter if they're asking you to read The Pokey Little Puppy for the millionth time, or asking you to play Smash Bros, even though you know that they'll wipe the floor with you every time. Just do it, because you never know what time will be the last time. Always make sure they know how much you love them. I had the fortune that the last thing my children ever heard me say was, "I love you. Good night. I'll see you in the morning."
Yeah, maybe it is real. Or that Jason in Hell, whoever made it,
Thanks so much
capitalized
for
off
I'll see you in the next one.
story.
I love you all.
For internet points. Kind of like those people who make Twitter accounts during a tragedy to try and get points and GoFundMes. But I find that unlikely. Damn, what a wild ride. Still, this really strikes me as super odd. Assuming this is all real, why would he make this post as a follow-up? This does not seem like someone who, literally days after the murder of his kids, would be so cavalier to post this. Seems very odd to me. But who knows, I guess. Thanks to resub Selden in the Prime, Aiden and Turtle. The resub Giblet. Cavalier being the wrong word. Yeah, could be fake, probably real though. Reddit karma is like the least, like on the food chain of social points, it's literally the lowest. Nobody is Reddit famous. I guarantee maybe 5 people can tell me who has the most karma on all of Reddit because no one gives a fuck. So I don't think someone would farm karma like that. You can be Twitter famous, Facebook famous and all that shit, but Reddit, I've never heard of someone Reddit famous or anything like that. You command 0 power and 0 presence by having a ton of karma on Reddit. Seen that one actually, Wicked. And thanks to the resub Super. So it's probably real then. Fucking wild story. Deep fucking Value isn't famous for Reddit. He's famous for that entire GME movement, which started on Reddit, I suppose, so you could argue it, but it's not like he was just a Reddit commenter. Like he wasn't a Reddit karma farmer. He was a Redditor who did something fucking crazy, which caught on and blew up. I guess, Bind. I'm just assuming it's real. It seems very, very wild if that was all an elaborate fake from that Reddit account.